Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of James Bond Bitcoin Live. 00148 hashtag Ben Franklin, or I'm sorry, Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin. So, anyways, let's go over the note section, see what I'm going to be talking about today. What do we have in the lineup? Of course, I always have my bond trading view, list of top 55 coins and tokens compared to Bitcoin percentage and all-time high, flagged for shorts. So just want to make that sure. Now, I haven't flagged them for shorts, but I will go over the bond trading view and I'll sort them by percentage from all-time high. And I'll go over, I don't know, maybe the top 5, maybe the top 10. We'll see what's going on. All right, first thing in the notes here, if you check out the note section of this video, this is what I'll be going over. Bitcoin Babe. Does anybody know who Bitcoin Babe is? Bitcoin Babe. It saved my life. Crypto trader reveals dark reason for buying Bitcoin. Well, I don't know Bitcoin Babe personally, but I know she traded on local Bitcoins, has her own site. She tends to use a lot of sex appeal to get, I wouldn't say to get trades, but obviously there's some sex appeal there. Anyways, she even says it in the video. There's a video in the article. Talk a little bit about her. And she's Australian, from Australia. So this next story is kind of related to that. Australian tax office to scale up surveillance on cryptocurrency traders. All right. So the noose on this space is getting tighter and tighter. In some ways, if this space is being taxed, then you know it's been somewhat legitimized. It's taken seriously, so serious enough that the governments of the world want to tax you for your Bitcoin, keep you working, keep you enslaved in some ways. I think. I mean, you get something out of it. I mean, after all, you get at least in the first world countries, you get nice roads, you get nice, streets, you get nice, public lights, some safety. I mean, you get something out of it. It costs quite a bit. And you end up paying for stuff you don't want to pay. Like, I don't know, for all you single people out there, you end up paying for some public housing and some public schools, some other stuff as well, which you probably don't want to pay for, but you end up paying for it anyway. Let's see what else is in the notes section here. Chinese Bitcoin miners largely unaffected by volatility and regulation. Now, this is a little bit follow-up from, I think I had an article a couple days ago. It goes over some numbers as well of what the break-even point is for these Chinese miners. And I think some of those numbers will help you out. If you know what they are, you know maybe where the limit of how low the price can go. It doesn't mean that it's going to go that low. I mean, it can go lower, because just like any free market, the price doesn't obey what the miners want the price to be. All right, the price will not obey the miners. If it's a truly free market, if there is an oversupply and low demand, the price will go lower. But we'll check out the numbers on that. Okay. And then finally, the last part I'll be covering today is teen who bought a car bomb off the dark web in an attempt kill his father, his ski parents, because they disapproved of his white girlfriend, is jailed for 8 years after being caught in FBI sting. Interesting. So stories like this, it interests me. The motivations of people, the things that people do. Have you ever thought about killing anybody? This show is obviously about death and taxes, and some of the articles and things I'll be covering, talk about that a little bit in detail, actually. But death and taxes. In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. And that's for sure. If any of you know anybody who has lived forever, let me know. Or if any of you plan on becoming immortal, let me know. I'd like to hear your story. And as far as taxes, well, there's never a time where I don't pay taxes. I went to the store today. I paid a sales tax. I own some property. I pay property tax. So taxes are everywhere. They pay for things. They pay for your local services that otherwise you wouldn't want to do. And here's the thing: if you do want to do something, if you want to take on the burden and responsibility all to yourself, there is a place. I think yesterday I had the video. There's a link, and it's a video about Slab City. It's a place where you can live for free for the rest of your life. You don't have to pay any taxes. There's no police. There's no water. There's no running water anyway. No sewer, no lights, no maintenance. It's all up to you. It's an anarchist paradise, if that's what you want to call it. From what I can tell, it's not much of a paradise. I know better places to be than in Slab City, but if you don't believe in any government intervention, there's a place for you in America. It's called Slab City. Go there and pick a spot where you want to be, and there you go. You can be there. Don't have to pay rent. Probably don't have to pay taxes too, and you can live the rest of your life in anarchy. Anyways, let me continue in the note section here. Coin Spectator, real-time cryptocurrency news aggregator, and Crypto Panic is a news aggregator platform indicating impact on price and market for traders and cryptocurrency enthusiasts. Let me go over some of that. Let me check it out here. Let's see what's going on recently here. I'll go over coinspectator.com first. Let's see what news feeds are coming up here. Okay, the pattern of Internet of Things. Blockchain will meet radical changes after the strong landing of INT on OK Exchange. Internet of Things, is that INT? I don't even know what INT is. It's just another one of those tokens that's supposed to represent the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things, I don't know what that is. I think that's just a buzzword. That's coming from Econo Times 18 minutes ago. Let me see. Here's another one from Econo Times 1 hour ago. Bitcoin advocate Madeline Eden running for Congress to promote fair elections through blockchain technology. Now, this is not the first time someone is running for Congress or government who's involved in Bitcoin some way. Back in 2013, I believe there were 2 to 3, maybe even 4 congressmen who were pro-Bitcoin. I think 2 of them weren't able to become reelected. And so you know, they come and go. There's a lot of politicians that come and go, being pro Bitcoin. What was another thing? The governor of Texas, Abbott, Mayor or Governor Abbott, accepted Bitcoin as donations to his campaign. So I mean, that was being pushed in the news quite a bit. I don't know what came of that. So, you know, you get, if anybody can give you money, you'll accept it, right? I mean, whether it be gold, silver, Bitcoin, if you're running for something, and you can get some fundraising done through whatever means possible, crypto kitties, even crypto kitties, I guess, you know, you'll accept it, right? You need money somehow to run a campaign. Right, and then next here, let's see what else is up here. Russian Ministry of Finance to legalize cryptocurrency trading on approved exchanges. All right, so it looks like Russians are doing whatever they do. Of course, that's totally centralized and controlled. Wouldn't trust that with a 1,000,000-foot pole. Let's see what else here. Blockchain and logistics industry will improve transparency, enhance process accountability. This is coming from Cointelegraph 1 hour ago. Both of those stories came from Cointelegraph. I've heard this so many times since I've been ever involved, since I bought my first Bitcoin. And there's always some project that's going to improve technology or transparency using the blockchain. And I hear some flashy news about it, and nothing ever comes of it. A visual comparison between Bitcoin and other markets. Bitcoin.com, 2 hours ago. Bitcoin and regulators, an awkward dance, 2 hours ago. People are still talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken, Canada, launches Bitcoin bucket. That news is still circulating around from yesterday. Oh boy. You know, I could just go to the store, buy some chicken, and just fry it myself. I think it tastes better that way. It always tastes better when you make it. Let me see here. Singapore won't be part of the state-controlled crypto movement. So it looks like Singapore's not interested in making their own cryptocurrency. This is coming from Bitcoinist.com 3 hours ago. Let me skip through some of these. I mean, you can check it out yourself, but here's one. U.S. Treasury Secretary concern risk from cryptocurrency. New year, new fork, world Bitcoin, and Bitcoin candy expected soon. I'm a little tired of these hard forks, but I'll talk about them, but I won't have them in my notes section. Matter of fact, my notes section doesn't have any more of those hard forks. Let me see. Bitcoin shouldn't become the new Swiss bank account. Munchin. Did I say his name right? The new Secretary of State. So it looks like here we go again. Politicians talking about Bitcoin, about being the Swiss bank account in your pocket. That's what Obama said when he was president. And he was against Bitcoin. He was against cryptocurrencies. Obama, anyway. And it looks like this administration may be against it because Bitcoin is really like having a Swiss bank in your pocket. It really is. And out of the control of any government, they won't be able to seize it. Well, it's harder to seize, I should say. Not that they won't be able to seize it. They can try. I don't know how far they would get. Regulating peer-to-peer Bitcoin outside the exchanges or any third-party custody like Coinbase or BitPay, it's going to be hard, very hard. I would say impossible. But they can definitely regulate the third parties all day long. I wouldn't care much about them. since I'm not involved in them. And also, there's a petition going around for Coinbase to adopt SegWit, which I think they got maybe, I don't know, maybe they're up to 10,000 signatures. And considering Coinbase is signing up like, I don't know, 400, 500 people a day, 10,000 people, for them, 10,000 people, like when a company gets so large, that amount of people that are unsatisfied is just a business decision at that point. And on top of that, I don't use Coinbase, and I recommend other people don't use Coinbase because it's a great way to get on-ramped. But the only way you'll ever keep an account with Coinbase is if you just buy it and just leave it there, or you're buying it and then you're using one of Coinbase's merchant processing to buy something. That's about it. I mean, that's the only way you're ever going to keep an account. If you think you're going to be selling your Bitcoin on Coinbase, there's probably a very, very high probability that, first of all, Coinbase will reject your trade, your order, will cancel it. If it does go through, then there's a good chance your bank will cancel it. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I do that all the time. Well, I think if they keep on doing it, pretty soon they'll find that they won't be able to do it, or their limits are severely reduced. So good luck to you. That's my experience anyway, but who knows? Maybe your experience is different. I've seen people actually, I think make videos showing that they made a sell order on Coinbase and they're going to get $100,000 next week. I really doubt it. And on top of that, I really doubt the banks will accept it. So let's see here. What else is on here? I don't know what this is. MPSJ shuts down Bitcoin mining business in-house. Don't know what that's about. Let me see. How about this one? Cracking down nearly 48 hours. Give engineers time to rest before resuming service. I don't know. Bitcoin, Kraken should know that when it comes to exchanges, you got to be up and running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The fact that they're down for 48 hours, 2 days for an exchange. Now, if you think exchanges make their money by letting you trade, the fact that they haven't been able to trade for 48 hours, there's something wrong with that. That tells me that they're having more than technical issues. I mean, this is not a service maintenance problem. I don't think so. This may be something more serious. Let me see here. How about this one? U.S. government fears Bitcoin will be the next Swiss bank account. Of course it is. Of course. Everybody knows that. Anybody who's figured that out right now is, well, very slow. Here's another one. Taxman scrutinizes crypto exchanges. Here's a continuation of the Korean story here. 120,000 signatures gathered in South Korea cryptocurrency petition. Apparently, there's enough cryptocurrency signatures to protest the supposed crackdown on cryptocurrency exchanges out there. All right, so that's that. Let's go to let me go to cryptopanic.com. Let's see what goodies that we can extract from all this. Let me refresh it here real quick. Let me see. 20 minutes ago, India eyeing opportunity amid China's crypto mining exodus. Okay. Official rebranding, 26th of February of VeChain. VeChain is rebranding now? Wow. VEN, ticker symbol VEN. VeChain. It looks like they're trying to rebrand. Like, this is the new thing now, rebranding, changing your name, which would probably change the chart if it was rebranded on CoinMarketCap to make it look like it looks better than it is. If you looked at the overall chart from what it was, you'll probably see compared to Bitcoin, it sucks, right? It's not a well-performing Bitcoin chart compared to Bitcoin anyway. If you compare the altcoin to Bitcoin, it doesn't perform very well. But if you rebrand it and you have it showing like it performing kind of okay against Bitcoin, then you know, there's waves is also, I wouldn't say rebranding, but definitely redoing their symbol. And you know, symbolism is a strong human psyche motivator. It keeps you branded. It keeps you, you know, it keeps you motivated, and it reinforces your belief in why you have that altcoin. So, you know, improving the branding, you know, we're playing a mind game here. Let's have a look at this. Another one. 170K members pumping altcoins. Discord chat. Make over 30% profit. Next pump in 15 hours. Invites closing in 12 hours. This is coming from EOS. This is with 13 negative, 1 positive, 1 important. EOS pumped pretty hard today, or recently. I've seen a few YouTubers talk about EOS like they knew it was going to be pumped. I wouldn't be putting this on the EOS forums, on the Reddit sub forums, talking about, you know, next pump in 15 hours, invite closing in 12 hours. I wouldn't be putting that up there. Not around this time. Not when every regulator all over the world is literally monitoring cryptocurrencies right now. Blockchain and logistics industry will improve transparency and hence process accountability. Another one of these things. None of them have ever come to fruition, as far as I know. That has 5 positive for some reason. EOS price up 31%. Oh goodness. Let me see. There's one in particular. 3 hours ago, warning: this smart cash is artificial due to exchange closure. Don't get wrecked. This is coming from our smart cash. How about this one? 3 hours ago. Why 2018 is Ethereum's year. It will be the unchallenged #1 by year's end. I've heard this before. That sounds so familiar. It was supposed to happen this year, and it almost did, and then it died. It died and shriveled back up, you know, into the cavity, and all of a sudden now it's rearing its ugly head again. I really doubt Ethereum will be #1. Okay, let me see. There was a story here, because after all, this episode is about death and taxes. There was an episode here. Okay, here it is. I'll open it up here and let me read it. This is 5 hours ago. It's so nice to see Bitcoin. Let me see. Is that no? That's not it. Okay, here it is. 5 hours ago. Enjoy life while you can. This is coming from the cryptocurrency Reddit subforum. Our cryptocurrency has 24 positives, 7 important with 3 negatives. So let's just read it, because we're talking about we are going to be talking about death and taxes today. So let's just take a quick read at it. All right. It says, "Dear crypto community, I always read about people complaining they are not making gains and how shit their life is and so on. I want to tell you that I am hospitalized ATM at the moment. Nothing serious, just some safety checks because of some trouble I had with my heart. Anyway, I had to close my eyes many times while being here. I even sang songs in my head to overhear the suffering of really ill men, women, and children. I am fucking crying while it says tipping, but I'm sure he meant typing. I am fucking crying while typing this because I can only imagine that death sick people are going through, what families are going through. If you ever hear a person that cries and begs to stay alive, you will feel ashamed of the moments you thought your life is bad. Dear crypto community, I don't wish you gains and Lambos and slut cocaine parties. I wish you all to stay healthy and to live life now. Don't wait. Life goes faster than you think. P.S. Sorry for my bad English." Anyways, just wanted to share that with you since we're talking about death and taxes. Okay, that's enough crypto panic. Let me go back to the note section here and read what's going on. Okay. So I've gotten rid of all the potential hard forks, joke forks, meme forks of Bitcoin. I did leave "it's time to stop" meme. I still think that's important because it's really time to stop. Okay. Let's focus on what really matters. You don't have the rest of your life. You're not going to live forever. You have a limited time. There's a small window of opportunity here. What are you going to focus on? You're going to focus on how to split your coins and get basically scammed from a bad wallet? Stop wasting your time, people. You have an opportunity to make a difference. You need to do that now. If you're in it for the money, I understand. We understand. Everybody understands you're in it for the money. If you're in it for the money, then just be in it for the money. Don't pretend. Don't pretend to be here, you know, talking about cryptocurrencies like you're an expert when all you care is about the money. All right? We can see right through that, and it's obvious. So make your money and then be gone. All right. Next in the note section that's been partitioned off, I have some useful, I believe they're very useful links. They will help people who really care about this community and that really want to do something with their lives, right? Do something with your life. SegWit charts, Coin Codex, Live Coin Watch, CoinGecko, BitInfo charts, Joho Mempool Statistics, Salome.io, Transaction Accelerator, and Bitcoin Cash Hash Rate Historical Chart 6 months. Collecting your free Bitcoin Gold. This is next in the note section. Collecting your free Bitcoin Gold. I'll still have that up there. If you do want an experience of splitting your Bitcoin Gold, that's fine. You know, if you had any Bitcoins, save the private key or save your mnemonic seed and then just split them later. All right. That's what I have to say. Don't be in a rush, because if you do rush, you'll most likely download a wallet that has malware on it, all right, or some virus, or is malicious, and it's going to steal all your Bitcoin. I made a video on how to split your Bitcoin gold. And then I have a mnemonic code converter for those of you who can't use Coinomi for whatever reason. But this mnemonic code converter is very useful in making, making Bitcoin wallets, an infinite amount. And you can import that wallet into anything, your Trezor, your Ledger, a different wallet, and it's free. It's coming from Coinomi. And then I have a link to Bitcoin Gold, but be careful. If you go there, they might steal your Bitcoins from you. All right, so next in the notes section, I have not seen any Craig Grant videos and his mistress, Juliana, talking about BitConnect. I haven't seen any. What is going on? Does anybody know in the chat if you've seen any BitConnect videos since the cease and desist letter from Texas and from North Carolina? Has anybody seen any more of these BitConnect videos? Because if you haven't, that may be a red flag right there that BitConnect is about to collapse. If you do know about BitConnect and you're interested in it, you might want to read these articles before you put your money into it. Why has ICO Index labeled BitConnect as an outright fraud? A notice regarding high-yield coins on top of BitConnect. What is BitConnect, and why have we decided to distance ourselves from it? And just to help you out just a little bit more, I made a video. I did a live stream interview with 3 BitConnect users. James Bond Bitcoin Live 0017. 2 of them rage quit. One of them was stupid enough to stick around to let you know where you could find him. I do keep tabs on that guy. I think he bought a new house, supposedly on his crypto, quote unquote, his crypto money he made, which I really doubt. I think he just qualified for a loan with a small down payment. Most likely, he may or may not have made a down payment, maybe. I'm pretty sure these days, if you're going to buy a house, you'll need a down payment, because there's no way a bank would ever take on that risk. And then he probably took a big fat loan. I doubt he paid for it in cryptocurrency like he claimed he did in his videos. I highly doubt it. He also was involved in USI Tech, which also got a cease and desist letter. I mean, the guy is just a Ponzi whore. What else after that? Oh yeah. Ozzy the BS filter, or how I like to call him, Ozzy the bullshitter, made a special guest appearance. I wonder if Ozzy still is not sure whether BitConnect is a Ponzi or not. I haven't seen him talk about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in a long time. I think he's drifting away from that. I wonder why. And then the 4th guest I had on was a regular guest. It was obvious, very obvious to him that BitConnect is a scam. All right. Ponzi, pyramid. Very obvious. Anyways, next in the notes section, the last part that's been partitioned off, I have the video, 3 music videos. The video theme for this video, Daniel Caesar, Death and Taxes. I think that's the appropriate video for this video. Death and Taxes by Daniel Caesar, cover. Death and Taxes, Daniel Caesar, cover. So just 3 different flavors for the same song, but I'm sure you'll get the point. And then hashtag yes2x119. Wow, that's a lot of memes. Hashtag yes2x119, the one you're looking at right now. In this world, nothing can be said to be certain, except death and taxes. Well, Benjamin Franklin was not the first to say that. There was other people, but by far, this quote is by far the most popular. It's an excerpt from the letter to John Bassett Leroy. Anyways, in the letter, I think Benjamin Franklin was discussing how the Constitution has begun, for the most part, and will be in will be in permanency. Will be everlasting, or almost everlasting, and in some degree, it has lasted. It's lasted all this time, over 200 years. A lot has changed within it, added, subtracted to some degree, but it's still there. So if you've never been to the nation's capital and actually seen the Constitution, I recommend you do. You paid for it in your taxes. Your hard-earned tax dollars are working right there. Doesn't cost a thing. You can't take your guns or knives, unfortunately, but it is free to go and see the Constitution on the original format. Most of the ink is, well, faded away. It's a shame. It almost, if you ever seen the Constitution now, the ink has faded away. In essence, you know, I see that almost representing how things are, where literally to some degree, the Constitution is almost fading, and to some people, to a lot. A lot of people, I think, feel disenfranchised, separated. I never seen this. Well, I wouldn't say I've never seen this country so polarized, but I definitely do believe there is some polarization going on, and you almost see that in the Bitcoin world too, with this Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash nonsense, this so-called civil war that basically has now split into two groups here, and each are battling and fighting over you and me to some degree. And I've seen some YouTubers now pivoting over to Bitcoin Cash. Well, I'm not really surprised, you know. I'm not really surprised at all. Like, some people have no idea, in my opinion, just my honest opinion, how any of this technology works. You know, even when I first started, it was novel, it was interesting, but I didn't know how it exactly worked until I started using it. And you know, when I started using it, only then did I really understood the power of this technology. Only then. And other than trading, okay, other than pushing buttons on some centralized exchange on Bitcoins that you don't really own, I don't see how anybody truly understands how powerful this technology is, unless you really, really use it in your everyday life in some way or format. So I have to admit that there's a lot of people who don't even know, in my opinion, just from watching and listening to them and their YouTube channel, what Bitcoin is at all, in my opinion. So anyways, that's that. And then let me see, let's go on, let's continue just a little bit longer. Pot of Gold. I also have a link to Pot of Gold, and there's a link to the Pot of Gold and the donational address to the Bitcoin Pot of Gold. So it is a SegWit address. Please donate if you have a chance. All right, so let's see who's all in the live chat here. I think I got you right in here. Looks like it needs to freshen up a little bit, but I'll go look on my smartphone. There we go. Let's see who is here. Dual overhead camness. Good to see you. You're always here. Thank you very much. The Twitter chick. I don't know who that. Bitcoin Babe is a Bitcoin trader. I'll go over the story. I'll give you some good scoops on her. Oh, you know her already. I see. Okay. And let me see. Sunset. I think this is the first time I've seen you here. How you doing, Sunset? Neo Geo, welcome to the channel. Hey all, James Bond and dual overhead canvas. Sunset. Okay. And then let's see. Sunset. Buy Bitcoins. Is he reading a poem? No, I'm not reading a poem. I was reading a subreddit forum post by someone who posted that up. That's what I was reading. Let me see. Free Skillshare Media. Good to see you. Is SegWit a scam to take over Bitcoin? I don't think so. I think SegWit was a soft fork in order to do several things, improve some capacity, and then fix the malleability problem of Bitcoin, which people have been working on and developed and tested over a few years, and then finally got it implemented. So I don't think it's a scam. It's something that I've used and it works. I send Bitcoin and it goes. I don't know if it really lowers the fee. I'm not even sure if it increased the block size because no one has gone over the block size up to the limit of its capability. So I don't know. But what I do know is that supposedly it offers Lightning, it offers other features because it's supposedly fixed the malleability problem, which was the reason why Bitcoin had its issues, and also because of the malleability, it was also the ASIC boost was the other part of it, and there's a whole series of stuff. I'm not even sure what's true or what's false, but I think if you give it enough time, time will tell the truth. If you give it enough time, time will tell the truth. And whether one system over the other survives or not depends upon its users. Just because it's better doesn't usually mean it's going to survive. It's whatever system gets used and accepted, that's the one that survives, really. Okay, let's see here. Let's see who else is in here. I think that's it. All right, so thanks for being in the chat tonight. Appreciate it. Let's go back here. Let's go over the, oh, sorry for the white screen. Some of these articles eat up a lot of CPU power, I'm assuming. My graphics card ain't that great either. Anyways, this is the Bitcoin pot of gold. Over here to the left is the QR code to the Bitcoin pot of gold. Please donate. It is a SegWit address. Donate, and so I can give away the 10th clue. The 10th clue to the 10th word of the 24-word mnemonic seed. And so I think I've already given away the 9th clue on a couple previous episodes. You probably have to go back and check it out. QR code on the right here is the encrypted private key. And that encrypted private key, you'll need a password. Keep in mind, it is a SegWit address, so you'll need a SegWit compatible wallet to sweep it. If not, use a SegWit sender. The QR code here down the bottom in the middle is a link to Yellow Fever for You. He gave me this idea, so thank you, Yellow Fever for You. Hello, client Shibzig. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you again. All right, sorry for the bright screen. Let's see what you are saying while this loads up. Okay, yeah. Let's see what you're all saying while this loads up here. You're saying here, let me see. You say, my sis paid me in Litecoin. Okay, good. Goodness. Segwit is a base, Shibzig says, Segwit is a base layer. I think every added layer channel also reduces the risk of attack. Free Skillshare Media thinks Bitcoin is like MySpace. Well, you know, I guess you can make an argument for that, but it's been a technology that has been by far the most developed and also has probably the most value right now. I don't know if you can compare like Bitcoin to MySpace. It's usually you'd be right. Technology, the first technology is usually the most crude of technologies, but you got to keep in mind people have been developing Bitcoin and improving on it. So it's not like the Bitcoin from 2009 is the same Bitcoin of 2018. It's actually not. It's probably very different. So the wallets have improved dramatically. The block size still remains right where it is. It hasn't changed. That has not changed. But the features and the usability have greatly improved since I started. So I don't think you can say that it's MySpace would be right to say that that's how Bitcoin is. I don't think that'd be right. Bitcoin's very different. Normally, you would be right. The first technology that comes out usually becomes obsolete by the improved technology. But Bitcoin is basically has the most developers, and I think very, very smart developers. And it has an advantage of being around for 9 years. And so there's a lot of users all over the world. And if you compare it to other crypto coins, the other altcoins or tokens, those tokens are paired to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the currency reserve of all other coins. And we have to, that's the reality. So I don't think Bitcoin's going to become like a MySpace or anything like that anytime in the future. Bitcoin's really the anchor for all other cryptocurrencies. Without Bitcoin, I don't think any other cryptocurrencies would ever, since that includes Ethereum, that includes Litecoin, other new coins that have came up recently. All of them. None of them would exist without Bitcoin. And that's the truth and that's reality. Okay, so let me go on to this one here. Okay, here we go. Let's just go over it. And there's also a video to this thing. And yes, those are breast. If you don't know who Bitcoin Babe is a trader. Her name is it Michelle Jurek? She does use sex appeal. In the video, even talks about how she uses sex appeal. In other words, she knows that 95% or 99% of this cryptocurrency space is. Let me see here. Let me put a stop here. Maybe that'll stop it. Is dominated by men. So she talks about how Bitcoin changed her life, where she was, the time she ever got involved in Bitcoin was to use it for the dark net markets to basically commit suicide, to overdose. Now, I don't know how she could have overdosed herself. I'm I'm slightly a little bit skeptical of this story, because if you know anything about Bitcoin and the people involved in Bitcoins, and there always seems to be some weird twist to how they present themselves to the world. I've seen other articles where I know some of these people, I've traded with them, and the article makes them sound like something else that they're not. So apparently she buys some probably drug to overdose. She probably most likely bought weed and smoked all the weed at once and then fell asleep thinking she was going to OD on cannabis, and then woke up and realized she didn't die. I'm just joking. I don't know that for sure. But again, I am highly skeptical of the story she's perpetuating here. Anyways, that's her origin story. And when she realizes that she didn't die, she tries to buy more drugs on the darknet market, only to realize her Bitcoin value has gone up dramatically. And that's the point where her life changes. That's where Bitcoin saved her life. Interesting story. But let me give you a little story that I know about her. And that is, this is also the same woman who has repeatedly lost her bank account. Her bank account in Australia are closed. So I don't know exactly how she's trading, other than at this point she's only left to do face-to-face transactions. The other thing is, she did do peer-to-peer face-to-face transactions, and one of her transactions, one of her meetups that she did, she was followed. All right, she was I wouldn't say comatized, but she was bonked on the head. She had a concussion. She woke up on the side of the road. I don't know if she was sexually assaulted or not, but not too sure. But definitely she was unconscious. Her smartphone was gone. Her money might have been gone. Basically, after the meetup, the two male perpetrators followed her home. And then she woke up on the side of the road with her phone missing. So that has also happened. So there's quite a bit more story to this than meets the eye. In this story, it also says she bought a house with her cryptocurrency gains. So this is interesting story. Now, if you think about all this story, which is good for her, I'm glad Bitcoin saved her life, but I do think there's a certain sex appeal that she does use, because after all, 99%, I would say 99.99% of Bitcoin users are male. So I think she does definitely use a little sex appeal. If you go to her website, there's a little sex appeal there. So I think she does have a niche, and good for her. Good for her. She found her niche. She found her purpose in life. She found a reason to live, if the story is true. So, and I'm glad she bought her house. Now, this brings me to my next. Let me get rid of this. This is eating up a lot of my memory here. Okay, now, sorry about that. See what you are all saying here. Let me see here. Hey, how you doing, Pisces Traits 373 blockchain? Cheers to the weekend, guys. Yes, cheers to the weekend, Friday. Let's see how long I'll be able to talk. Who knows? Buy Bitcoin says frowning 2. No entry sign. Honeypot. Okay. Ripple really isn't a crypto. That's right, Dave Hamilton. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. Everyone's all psyched out about Ripple. I don't know why. It's absolutely useless. All right. Nobody's going to use it, because if they could use it, they would just use cash or a credit card or Western Union. So what's the bother of using Ripple? You use, basically, people who really use cryptocurrencies because they can't use Western Union. They can't use a bank. They can't use cash, or they're trying to transfer value from them to another person. So even if they did have cash, mailing it would not be a good idea. Otherwise they would have to transport it themselves to another location, which is cost prohibitive. So people who use cryptocurrencies aren't really interested in doing the things that people think, like non-people who don't use cryptocurrencies think that they should use cryptocurrencies, like buying coffee or stuff like that. Bitcoin Buy, you say she sells Ripple through prostitution. I don't know who you're talking about, but if you're talking about Bitcoin Babe, then that's interesting. That'd be hearsay. I know she's she looks young, and she does use a little sex appeal. Of course, all women do. Hey, Neo Geo, see you later. Have a good one. $21 million Club, welcome to the chat. You say, my post just got censored on Steemit after 1 hour. So much for uncensored. Yeah, I knew that since Steemit is not, Steemit is censored. There's the Steemit police. They come out and they downvote you to nothing, so your posts never show up. So Steemit is centralized. The platform itself is centralized. The token is I believe just as well centralized as well. I don't know why people encourage each other to go on Steemit. Only people who circle jerk, only people who like masturbate with each other go on Steemit and promote Steemit. That's all I can say about those people who promote Steemit. They masturbate each other, and those are the people that really promote Steemit, masturbators. Let me see. Buy Bitcoin. You say she stole the Bitcoin through a divorce. Is that how she bought the house? She got the Bitcoin. Are you talking about Bitcoin Babe? How she basically stole the Bitcoin through a divorce, and that's why she was thinking about suicide. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, just going through the chat here, having fun with you guys. Pisces Trait 373 blockchain. You say, I am all woman. Been in crypto since December 2016. Oh, Pisces, are you really a woman? I didn't know that. I assume all Bitcoin users are men. And then you have what is that? It doesn't show it. Okay. All right, let's go back here. So, right. So this leads me to my next story. Australian tax office to scale up surveillance on cryptocurrency traders. So if you're trading in Australia and you are basically trading peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, or even on the exchanges, there's a really good, highly good chance that you are probably being surveilled. And now you're going to have to come up with some answers here on if you bought a house, right? If you bought a house, hopefully you've been keeping records and paying your taxes, because they want to know how you came up with that money to buy that house or to buy the Lambo. And so, things are tightening around here. And also in Australia, they had like a double taxation. They had like a sales tax if you sold your Bitcoin. So you had to charge like 8% on your Bitcoin. So not only do you have to charge 8%, you also did your premium, which was anywhere from 5 to 10%, plus another, I would say 8% for the VAT tax, value added tax that you had to add in Australia. They actually eventually took that away because I've been saying, and I've always, and this is where when I was on local Bitcoins, I did mention this in the forums in local Bitcoins, is when you trade Bitcoin, you're not trading or you're not selling something. You're doing a currency trade. You're doing a Forex trade in reality. And so a couple of days after that, there was a company that filed for VAT exemptions or the resale tax exemption, and they got it. And I'm assuming they got it because they were claiming that it's a currency trade, not a resale of a product or service. So eventually, I think they took that away in Australia. But now, I think the tax authorities there are probably going to really look at cryptocurrency traders and see what's going on with them, because the price of Bitcoin's gone up. They want their money. There's some things you can never. There's certain things you can be, certain, and that's death and taxes. Those will always come to you, no matter what. As long as you're alive, people will try to tax you. Unless you go to Slab City in America, apparently there is no law enforcement. There is no government in Slab City. You can live there forever and not pay any taxes. But you're on your own. You got to provide your own water, your own food, sewage, heating, cooling, all that. Anyways, so I think this is going to be more prominent as time goes on. And all those people who make videos about how they became crypto billionaires and they're driving Lambos, either one or two things. They're really not crypto billionaires, and they don't really own those Lambos. They're renting them or leasing them, or whatever new car they supposedly bought. They didn't buy a car, they leased a car. And if they are making a living off of crypto, I don't think it's as much as they portray themselves to be. Or the other hand is they are. Okay, they really do have that kind of money, but they already have money. So having crypto is just a way to keep the money hidden away from maybe tax authorities, maybe the government. You're probably using it to, I wouldn't say not tax evade, but you're ensuring that you control your money. So you already have money, and that's why you already drive a Lambo, or you have money to buy a Lambo. So these people who portray themselves as crypto billionaires, well, they never really made money off of crypto. Okay, they just used it to transfer their money from here to there. That's my opinion. That's my honest opinion. All right, so let's see what's next here. Let me close this out. Some of these are taking a lot of my memory up. So hopefully that clears everything up a little bit better. All right, let's have a look. All right, so here's the other article that I want to talk about. Chinese Bitcoin. Oh, goodness. What is going on here? Okay, Chinese Bitcoin miners largely unaffected by volatility and regulation. Now, I've already gone through an article that's very similar like this, but this article kind of gives a different number. All right, and let's just go over some of the numbers in which they talk about here. So here are some numbers that they talk about. They talk about the break-even point right here at $4,800, right? And then depending on how much their electricity, if they're getting a good heavy discount, is $3,900. Now, if you're thinking about mining and you think you can make some good money on current prices, you can, but keep in mind the Chinese miners don't just mine with like, a couple of mining rigs. It's a warehouse full of mining rigs, and they probably consume millions of dollars in electricity. Okay, and so what does this mean? Does this mean the price of Bitcoin, the floor is, 3,900 or 4,000? It could be. It could be. The thing is, just because the miner's break-even point is at $4,000 doesn't mean the price of Bitcoin will not go below $4,000. Okay. If it's truly a free market, like people say that is, hey, what's up, K7Gixer 1000? Really, the Bitcoin Candy is available on the top 20 coin market cap. Interesting. I'll check it out. So basically what I'm saying is, just because the miner's break-even point is at 4,000 does not mean the price of Bitcoin will not go below 4,000. It can, and if there is an oversupply of Bitcoins out in the market, it will. If there is an oversupply of Bitcoins, which I still believe there is an oversupply of Bitcoins in the market, there is an oversupply of Bitcoins in the market, and there's really not a lot of demand. Okay, I think most of the demand did come through the holidays during December and through the New Year's, and then right now we're in a lull. We're in a piece where there's not much demand, and so there could be possible demand coming up. Bitcoins are used for gambling, so you have the NFL playoffs. All right, you have what else? Super Bowl coming up, and I think maybe around that time, for whatever reasons, whether it's recreational drug use, whether it's gambling, whether it's fraudulent credit cards, whatever, around that time frame, there could be an increase in Bitcoin demand around that time frame. Maybe, I'm not sure. Does it mean anything? I'm just speculating. But my point is that when the price of Bitcoin is not controlled by the miners. Now, miners do have an influence based on, the hashing rate and the difficulty and everything. But if the miners were smart, and usually if you have a large mining farm, it makes sense. Even if you're mining at a loss, you should have enough cash reserve to mine for at least 2 to 3 years of cash reserve ready. And so if that is true, they will mine even if the price goes below 4,000. It might even be easier because they would push out the smaller mining farms that don't have enough money to last that long. Okay, and they can get all the Bitcoins. You got to be, if you're a mining farm, you got to be smart. You got to have the money and the reserve to take losses for years, because if you're smart, you know that eventually the halving's coming up. The market will have enough demand. Eventually, the market will create enough demand again, and the price will go up. So if you're a miner, or if you invested in mining farms back in 2013, all the way to 2016, most likely you were taking a loss. But 2017 was the year you made out huge. You made out huge. You practically probably would have been a billionaire if you were mining throughout that whole time, probably. And so, you know, if you're a smart miner, or if you're a smart mining farm, no matter what the price is, even if it dips down below the break-even point, you would still mine, because I've not ever seen the hashing rate ever go down, even in a bear market. So it is possible for the price to go down below the break-even point of $4,000 for these miners, and they will still mine. All right. All right, so let's go to the last story here. Let me close this out because it takes some of my CPU power away. There we go. Before I go on, let's see what's going on in the live chat here. Hey, DD8209, how you doing? Good to see you in the live chat. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's see here. David Hamilton, your wife trades on Binance? Really? Interesting. Does she know you what you do? Does she know you're in the Bitcoin? Are you a Bitcoin couple? That's interesting. Let me see here. All right, this is where K7 Gexer 1000. Did you get your Bitcoin Cash hard fork coins today? Bitcoin Candy CDY is already in the top 20 coin market cap coins. Well, let's check that out. CDY. I'm assuming you have to have Bitcoin Cash. Let's see here. We'll check that out here real quick. Okay, you want to say CDY, huh? CDY. Let me first. It must be a futures on the coin market cap, but let's see. Bitcoin. No, I don't see it. Blander Mania, how you doing? Welcome to the live chat. No, I don't see Bitcoin Candy anywhere. Nope, nothing about Bitcoin Candy here. Sorry. Don't see anything about Bitcoin Candy. Sorry, K7 Gexer 1000. It's not showing up for whatever reason. Let me see here. Let's see. All right. And okay, let me go on to the article now. All right, so here's the next article. A teen who bought a car bomb off the dark web and attempted kill his ski parents because they disapproved of his white girlfriend is jailed for 8 years after being caught in FBI sting. People hear about the dark net market and you hear how safe it is. You can get your weed, or you can get your drug, or you can get your gun, or whatever. And apparently this person was using Alphabay, and really he was buying from the FBI. So, you know, these dark net markets, I don't know how dark they really are. I don't think some of them seems to be a setup for the FBI. I mean, could you imagine what's the best way to um, you know, monitor the darknet markets other than the FBI going ahead and starting a darknet market? And if they did have drugs, where do they get their drugs? Well, you know, who's buying Bitcoins? Probably the FBI are buying Bitcoins, and what the FBI are doing are probably buying Bitcoins off the real darknet markets, and then they're setting up shop to become a darknet market to monitor the whole situation. And so if some of your drugs went through, it's because they want to know where it's going and how it's flowing. You know, FBI becoming a drug dealer to eventually surveil the flow of drugs, you know, that's not too far-fetched. And while they have this darknet market up, why not offer some guns and murder for hire and some other things eventually to be, you know, to convict some people. Interesting story. It's an 18-year-old. Apparently, the reason why he wanted to kill his parents is because he was dating a white girlfriend, and they didn't approve of that. So, very interesting story. I always love hearing about these stories because, you know, Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin doesn't care. Your transactions will go through. It doesn't matter. It's kind of interesting that the FBI would be setting up shop to do this. So be careful when you order stuff off the darknet markets. You could be buying from the FBI, which I do believe. I really do believe that the FBI sets up darknet market sites. They buy Bitcoins from Bitcoin traders because they need to actually buy the real drug from the real darknet market sites. And so they can set up shop for their own darknet market sites to surveil the people who are buying and selling, you know, the whatever drug, contraband, credit card information. That's not far-fetched. You know, that's not far-fetched. That's a great way to infiltrate. That's a great way to go find targets. That's also a good way to make a disturbance in the darknet markets itself. Because, you know, if you don't know if you're buying from an FBI or you're buying from a real drug darknet market site, makes you think twice before you go onto the darknet markets. So, interesting story. You don't hear about this too often. People don't talk about these things. But it just goes to show that, you know, people's motivations differ greatly, and Bitcoin doesn't care. You could be the person who wants to feed hungry children all over the world and set up a donational address, or you could be the teen who wants to kill their parents because you can't date a white girlfriend for whatever reason. So I find this story very interesting. It's just another story of all these other weird stories that you hear about of Bitcoin. I find these more interesting because they're not your typical run-of-the-mill, you know, I use Bitcoin to, you know, whatever, order food so I can eat, like in Venezuela. That's not one of your good. It's not one of your I feel good stories. It you know, when I hear stories like these are these kind of stories. There is a primal motivation, you know, to this story. Either greed, lust. I guess in this case, you could say love, but it's a story that I think has more substance than any of the KFC stories or Korea banning exchanges. This, you can't make this stuff up. You know, the truth is stranger than fiction. And this is what keeps me in Bitcoin. This is why I find Bitcoin so interesting, that stories like this could ever happen. So let me check out what's in what you guys are saying now. Okay, David Hamilton, you both buy Bitcoin, you and your wife. Oh, nice. But you're still poor because you had to sell a bunch. You know, that's that's so ironic, you know, that you could be involved in Bitcoin so deeply, but at some point you had unfortunately had to sell your Bitcoin. It's like that Andreas Antonopoulos story where he had to sell Bitcoins to well, for whatever reason, um, to because I know he has a family and everything. That's what he said in his tweet, and then end up like evangelizing all over the world, meeting people, only to eventually not be able to have enough Bitcoin to live off of. It's like an irony in a lot of ways. Let me see. Let's refresh this. While this is refreshing, let me change this here. Let's take a look at the coin market cap here. Let's see here. Let's have a look at the mempool real quick. All right, let's take a look here. So Dave Hamilton, you say you're both poor because you had to sell a bunch. I know that's unfortunate. Blender Mania, you say that's a great point about mining at a loss while keeping a long-term goal. Yeah, yeah. You know, if you think about it, a lot of people who dropped out, unfortunately, dropped out at the worst time. Really did. If they stuck to it and they had enough reserve to last, you know, you should consider mining as a way of buying Bitcoin, because really mining Bitcoin is like buying Bitcoin. You buy the machine, you're buying the electricity, right? All that, all everything you're doing is all the money is being generated to make Bitcoin. So essentially, you are buying Bitcoin. So if you're smart, you should have a reserve of up to 2 to 3 years if you're a large mining operation, large mining farm, because if you just look at the history of Bitcoin, it has its depressions and you know, peaks and valleys. It inflates and deflates in price, but the overall trend is upward. And if they all continue to mine, even solo miners in a mining pool, you would have made a lot of money. Unfortunately, a lot of people mine at the moment, like they calculate mining at a profit at the moment, and unfortunately, that's their mistake. The best time to mine is really at a loss. It really is, and to stick with it for years, at least 3 years. So let me see. K7 Gexer 1000. The hard fork occurred only a few hours ago. Okay, so Bitcoin Candy hard fork only occurred a few hours ago. That's a good point. So I don't think it'll show up, but we could look for Bitcoin Candy and see what comes up. So Blander Mania, you say anyone that owns one full Bitcoin is not and will definitely not be poor in the future. I think so too. I believe so. I think long term in the future, uh, I've said this many times, and I still believe this to this day, that you know, Bitcoin in the Satoshi value, one Bitcoin is worth $100 million. So I do believe that everything will be priced out in Satoshis at some point in time. So when you have one Bitcoin, you essentially have one $100 million. I believe one Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshis. So eight decimals. Is it 10 million or 100 million? I don't know. It's a lot, but I think you're right. In the future, distant future though, long term, very, very long term. So okay, let's have a look at the mempool here, and it's looking slightly better. Looks like you will get your transactions done in 140 Satoshis per byte. There's still a lot of transactions at 10,000, at 100 Satoshis per byte. There's over 24,000 transactions in that gray area right here that you're seeing. So that's, let me see here. Yeah. So, but the good news is, if you're at 140 Satoshis or over, you will probably be in the block sooner, better than being at 300 or 500. So that's good news. That's very, very good news. Slowly but surely, it's getting eaten away. Slowly but surely. All right, let's take a look at the actually Bitcoin fees real quick. Let's see what the Bitcoin fee says. All right, let's have a look here. Yeah, at 140, you could, even at 130 right here, you could see that the blue bar is increasing over the red bar, which is the mempool. And so if you look at it, anything below 140, 130 Satoshis per byte is the mempool is being really filled, but not a lot of transactions going. Only after 130, you see the transactions, the blue bar being larger or longer than the red bar. And so I think it's safe to be anything above 140 Satoshis per byte, which is better than 300 and 500 Satoshis per byte. So it's looking better. It'd be nice if it starts getting lower than that, and it looks like it is. And maybe because of the price being low, or maybe the fear, its average is at 470 Satoshis per byte. I think that's a little high. That is high. I think anything around anything over 140 Satoshis per byte is probably good enough to get you into the next block. It says here 1 to 15 minutes. I wouldn't trust that. I would say 1 to 2 to 3 hours probably is what you want to give it. If you do desperately need it, I mean, obviously you have to have a higher Satoshis per byte fee, but if you're just moving your coins around and you want it moved around relatively today, you can 140. But again, if this is your wallet and you're just moving coins around, try to do the lowest fee. It'll be there for a while, and you can spend an unconfirmed if you have a wallet sender, or if your wallet allows it, or or if you know how to use a sender, a Bitcoin sender, you can send an unconfirmed transaction. And the unconfirmed transactions, when you send from an unconfirmed and you want to confirm faster, you probably want to put that transaction in a higher fee. So when you're pulling from an unconfirmed to a new transaction, the new transaction you probably want at a higher fee. And then it's basically like a parent pays for child situation, where your last transaction, your most recent transactions, will probably help you get into the next block, because the miner has to pick up all the previous unconfirmed transactions in order to add that new transaction with the high fee on it into the block. So it pulls all the other ones into the block, basically. All right, let's go to OCFX. Okay, which one is it? I think it's this one right here. There we go. And let's select, change that from all-time high. Let's just move that around real quick. So it looks like Neo, EOS, Decred, game credits, library credits, Pivx, Ethereum, Augur, Byteball. Looks like there's, and 0x. Looks like all these altcoins are doing really well. EOS is really pumped hard. And again, I think it's a coordinated effort. It's not even, it's literally, EOS is only 6 months old. I remember when the coin market cap, okay, let me just go to the coin market cap here. Let's give it time to load up. I remember a time when Augur was in the top 10. All right. I remember a time when all the Humanic, what else? I remember when all the new ICOs that came out, they were all in the top 10. Literally, barely a year later, where are all those new coins now? Where are all those new tokens? Well, they're down at the bottom because they never grew beyond that, and they actually lost value compared to Bitcoin. So if you consider that, don't think you missed out on Ethereum or Ripple or Bitcoin Cash or Cardano or NEM, even Litecoin and Stellar or EOS or IOTA, because I would be surprised that any of these coins will stay up on the top 10 by next year. I would really, really, really be surprised. Matter of fact, of all the coins that I recognize being in the top 10, Bitcoin has always been number one. Always been number one. Okay. And Ripple. I've seen Ripple up there, but everyone knows Ripple is not a cryptocurrency. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows this token is not being used in any way, shape, or form. It's an insult to even have it on here. And why people are buying it, I think there's just a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot of perception that people have of these tokens that they think that's, I think they're, when people hear about these altcoins, they really buy into the social engineering. All right, they buy into the hype, and because they buy into the hype, and they literally bought the token. Now that they own the token, it's a strange effect. If you own something, all of a sudden, because you own this thing, now it has more importance than if you didn't own it at all. And so, I could speak for that because I own Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's really important to me. But Bitcoin's important to me not because I think this thing is going to be worth more in the future. Because it's not because of that, because I know it's worth a lot right now, and not only that, but I know its impact. I've experienced it firsthand myself, and I know how powerful that impact can be. I've never gone and used the darknet markets. If I want drugs, I would go to my local drug dealer and give him cash. I don't gamble. If I do play poker, it's for fun. I don't make a living playing poker and gambling. I do these things because I really do believe in being a part of the network. When you use Bitcoin, you become a part of a real physical network, and that's why I trade peer to peer. You really do are part. You're really a part of something without being a part of it, right? You know, it's not like I go out and I meet other Bitcoiners and we rejoice in for being Bitcoiners and trading in Bitcoin or having or owning Bitcoin or how many Bitcoins we have, how long have we hodled. None of that exists for me. But what does exist is a belief that you are a part of a movement. And it is some kind of belief in that, but I'm not really in a movement. I don't have to be in a movement with others. I can be autonomous, but yet still be a part of a greater piece. And so with these other altcoins, I don't see that as much. What I see is I see a lot of. I've always said this. I see a lot of greed, and I think greed drives people. It really does drive people to do things that they wouldn't normally really do, in my opinion. I don't think so. Hey, Ty Coker, how you doing? Let's go in the live chat. Let's see if everybody is saying here. I have to refresh it. Sorry. I guess my stream is very slow when it comes to this. But while that's refreshing, let's go over some of the coins here. Let's go over Neo. Let's see if Neo really on a rampage here. NEO, Neo. Okay. It's continuing. It's going up. It's going up. It's going to be interesting to see if it actually makes an all-time high or if it falters. I think a lot of Neo is really just hype. I haven't seen anything about Neo. Of course, I don't keep up to Neo. Let's see what is there's some let's see what the social engineering of Neo is up to these days. Let's have a look. What is going on with Neo that's driving the price? Let me see. Neo smart economy. Well, nobody wants to call their economy stupid or dumb, so it's always a smart economy. Let me see. This afternoon, Nathan Chen from Neo Community was invited to give a speech in the 2018 Blockchain Global Developers Forum in Suzhou. He talked about blockchain community and took Neo as an example to discuss how a blockchain-based community operates. Okay, I don't understand that, but let's see what it says on the Reddit here. Neo to our Neo, read this post first, okay? Daily Di Hongfeng chosen as the number 45 most influential person in the cryptoverse right now. Saw another list from mid 2017 and he wasn't even on it. Top 10 imminent. Wow, a lot of social engineering going on with this. So obviously, I guess there's some believers in it. They believe they're in some kind of smart economy. They probably believe that if they just keep growing and growing, this is really like a movement, like a religious movement or a cult movement. And the cult movement and religious movement depends on getting new users, new believers, people who will have the faith to continue. And so these coins are no longer just coins or cryptocurrencies. They also are now a part of a movement based on getting more users and more believers. But yet they don't produce anything. They don't offer any service. It all depends on your faith and your faith in someone like Nathan Chen or Di Hongfeng. If Dianfeng can become the top 10, that emboldens your faith. It really strengthens your faith in this movement or the token. And how much token is a measurement of how much faith you have in this project or the movement or the community as a whole. And that's how people measure each other, of how much faith do you have. You know, when you on a religious faith, you donate money. In cryptocurrency, you donate money and you get a token of appreciation, and how much tokens you have is a testament to your faith. And I think this is what you're seeing here for the most part. I really do. Okay, let's have a look here. K7 Gixer. Let me see here. Hold on here. Let me see. DD8209 says Coinbase is working on batching transaction, SegWit, and a number of other strategies to improve transaction backlog from Twitter Coinbase after being discovered adding lots of transactions. Yes, I did see that. I did see that. So is Coinbase spamming the network? I don't know if you could really say Coinbase is spamming the network. I think Coinbase is poorly managing their Bitcoins and their users' Bitcoins. I think that's what they're doing. I think they're poorly managed, poorly operated. And, you know, that's expected, because what other competition is there? There is no other competition. The competition is basically the rest of the Bitcoin community. And, you know, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on Coinbase, but I think that's a mistake. Relying on a corporation to give you what you want in essentially a decentralized community, or a community, an open source community experiment, it doesn't mix. It doesn't mix. I don't think it mixes. So you know, whatever they're doing is because there's a lack of competition. The only competition there is the other Bitcoiners who are trading peer to peer, and you know, that's the only competition that Coinbase has. And it seems like they don't care, because they're able to have the marketing. A lot of people referred them, which I don't know why. You know, I did to a certain degree, but when I started using them, I noticed that, you know, something didn't fit. I couldn't get the coins when I wanted to. They're always down. When I sold coins, you know, it was at their discretion on whether they would accept the trade or not. And they would only, it's strange, they would only accept the trade if it was to their advantage. If it was against them and in my favor, they would cancel the trade on me. So I don't, you know, I think using Coinbase, I don't even know why people bother to sign a petition. You know, I would just stop using Coinbase, because in the end, I think they're just going to become an agent of the IRS or the FBI. And you know, is that what you really want? Coinbase is you know, a bridge to the incumbent system. Do you really want to work with the incumbent system? Isn't that defeat the purpose of Coinbase? So let me see. K7 Gexer, you said CDY, Chinese digital yuan. Oh goodness. Tai Coker, is TRX a scam? I don't know what TRX is. I could look it up real quick, but let me see. Let me go through the other chat here. Blander Mania, what aspect of Lightning Network or SegWit are you most excited about? Well, let me go over SegWit first. I'm excited for SegWit because I think it will open up other features for Bitcoin. Fungibility, privacy, I think that's a major concern, considering how much regulators are all of a sudden, you know, wanting to surveillance and keep track of Bitcoin users. So privacy features, fungibility features, I think are really important. And I think SegWit does that. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if transaction malleability was an issue. Atomic swaps, kinda. I'm assuming there'd be good for atomic swapping um, for one different token to another, but I'm not sure how useful that would be. Um, Supposedly larger block sizes. It's an effective block size increase, which I've yet to see really. Supposedly lower transaction fees, which kinda when SegWit was first implemented, there were lower transaction fees, but that only lasted for about a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, before the SegWit 2x got basically shelved, and then only after SegWit 2x failed did the transaction fees really start to go up high. Of course, that was the warning from the SegWit 2x supporters that get ready for higher transaction fees. As far as Lightning Network, I'm hopeful for I'm hopeful, but I'm not too sure yet that anybody can run a Lightning node, and in being a participant in the Lightning node, that each node operator is able to receive some kind of fee for being a part of the Lightning network, and of course faster transactions, um, second layers, hopefully some kind of second layer solution. I know the scaling, it's proven to be difficult. Even Ethereum is going through some scaling issues. So as the more network effect you have, the more people using your network, there is an issue with scaling. That's for every blockchain. And the only easy answer seems to be you become centralized. That's the easy answer of resolving scaling. But that's obviously not going to work. It's been done many times. So let me see here. Ty Coker says, "Thanks for the hello. And what do you think about TRX? Is that Tron? Sorry, I'm sure everyone has been asking. First coin for many." Well, I think I did some research into Tron. I think it's I don't know if it's Cardano or if it's Tron, but I think just like any other altcoins, I I wouldn't I wouldn't do anything for the first 5 years, because there's a really very high chance that the coin will not survive the first 5 years. It will, obviously, it's the new flavor. I think if you think about altcoins or tokenized assets as a restaurant, like when a new restaurant comes into your neighborhood, it's very popular when it first comes out, but because it's new, it's different. Or if that's one way of thinking about it. Or how about a new bar in the neighborhood, right? You go to a new bar, it's a new place, it's different, everything's brand new. The network itself is probably very fast because no one's using it. That's why you could transact with low fees and everything. And just like a new chain or a new network, the first to go in, you get the coins for the cheapest amount. And then after everybody else following you that comes in and buys into it, it raises the price. And so the first person coming in makes the most amount of money, because they're also the first person to grab out of the cookie jar. And every subsequent other person after that is grabbing less money out of the cookie jar after you. So that's what I usually think about any new altcoins or any new project that comes out. And it typically, this is a scenario that I usually see. I see people make a new coin. It's usually for the purposes of making money. And then the coins and the projects are usually dumped onto the users or the community, and after about 5 years, after the the greedy people leave the project, their only sole purpose of creating the token was just to take the money. The people who actually stay and actually believe in the project actually take it further and beyond. If 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 the project has really true good intentions of actually, doing something and attracting talented people that can actually propel that project forward. So it takes about 5 years. And what's left after 5 years are people who really believe in it. Remember, I believe, uh, tokens and cryptocurrencies, it's almost like a faith-based religion. You have to have faith in this project for people to continue to put money into it. It's like when you make donations to your church or synagogue or mosque, and how much faith you have is basically dependent on how much money you donate. And with cryptocurrencies, you're given a token of appreciation. And so that is a way to measure your quote unquote faith, is how much you bought in. The unique thing is, with cryptocurrencies, you can actually become wealthy because you bought into these tokens, and these tokens will have value as more people come in also buying into this faith, the faith of the project, the faith of the community. And so that's basically what you're seeing here. That's what you're literally getting involved. So if you think about cryptocurrencies as a faith-based religion, if you just think about it in that way, I'm not saying Bitcoin or Litecoin or any of these cryptocurrencies is a religion. I'm not saying it is a religion. What I am saying is, if you think about it as a faith-based religion, have you ever noticed most people don't go into 10 different religions? You don't like on a Friday you don't go to a synagogue, then on a Sunday or a Saturday you go to a mosque, and then or however they have it. Like I think on a Friday you go to a mosque, on a Saturday you go to a synagogue, and on Sunday you go to a church, right? And then on Monday you don't believe in any religion at all. Right? I mean, you don't do these things, right? You either you kind of just look at all of them, and then you pick the one that you like. Well, you should do that with cryptocurrencies as well, my opinion, because remember, these aren't companies, these are not stocks, anything. They don't offer a service or a product. Essentially, you are being socially engineered. All right, and social engineering is huge. It's huge in the cryptocurrency space. All right, and so it's either hyped, or you're being tricked, or you're being scammed. And every once in a while, there might be a project that actually will make a difference and will actually do something. And so far, the only one that I've noticed to do that is Bitcoin, because I experience that every day. I experience a difference in my life using Bitcoin. I don't know why. It was probably the most dominant currency at its time, and that's what I went with, and I've stuck with it. And for me, if I like something and it works for me and I enjoy it, that's it. I don't wander off. I don't do anything else. I just stick with it, because what I've experienced is when I try something, when I find something I like it. Why would I want to look for something else? But I'll try, I'll try something different, but I won't like it because I've already found something that I like. That's just me, though. Let me see here. K7 Gexer 1000. You say Lightning is garbage. Originally, Bitcoin made your made you your own bank. Ellen, Lightning Network requires you to hand over your Bitcoin to someone else's bank in order to spend your Bitcoin cheaply. That is true to some degree. You're right. A lot of people believe in on-chain transactions. Um, the thing about Lightning Network is you need to do an on-chain transaction to get your Bitcoin to a Lightning Network. Then you will want to, from there, send it to someone else. And even then, the Lightning transaction, the Lightning Network is kind of weird because you have to set up a channel with somebody. Ideally, you want to set up a channel with someone you're you're transacting with very often, and have that channel open. And either you're feeding into the Lightning Network or the other person's feeding into the Lightning Network. But the part about Lightning is that there is no blockchain. Of course, it's just nodes that keep track of transactions, and that's why it's so instant and fast. And there's supposedly quote unquote smart contracts. It's just time locked for the most part, and there's other security features about it. I've looked into it. It's interesting. The hurdle is convincing people to use it. All right, that's the hurdle. The second hurdle is then convincing people that you have to send an on-chain transaction to the Lightning Network in the first place. And then the third hurdle is that now, after you do all those three things, now you have to open up a channel with somebody. And then the way the channels work is that it works through different hops. So you're literally 6 degrees from any person, I think. But the weird part is that every hop, there's a potential for you to be charged a fee. I think that would be the reason why people do go into Lightning, because it'll give them a chance to earn from the transactions, like the miners are earning from your on-chain transactions. The Lightning Network will allow the node operators to earn Bitcoins. They say now the first pitch, I'm a little skeptical, because it's always pitched whenever you see a new project or anything new that comes along, it's always pitched as, this is cheaper, this will save you money. But when it actually happens, you realize, well, actually it didn't save you money. It actually cost you as much, the same, or even more. Maybe the only difference is it is a faster transaction because it has no blockchain. And that's the only thing. So I suspect, we'll have to see, but I suspect that Lightning Network will, as far as fee-wise, will be the same, or eventually come to be the same, because everyone's taking a piece of your Bitcoin for being a hop, and the only difference is the Lightning Network is going to be faster. You'll be able to instantly transfer versus waiting 10 minutes or even longer, waiting on fees. But I think the fee structure will be the same for Lightning Network as well eventually. But that remains to be seen. You won't know until it actually happens. Arguments without proof are meaningless. Yeah, but this is all for open discussion. Any proof would be greatly appreciated at K7Gexer1000. Sometimes people say stuff just to start a conversation. It's just an icebreaker. So I don't necessarily mind all that much. I mean, I say some stuff too. It's sometimes I say stuff just to agitate the situation, because it gets the conversation started, at least. Let's see what else you say here. If you can make a better Lightning implementation, you should do it. K7. Everyone's picking on K7. Let's see what K7 has to say. It says, in order to use Lightning Network, you need to open a payment channel. That's where you're handing over your Bitcoin to someone else's bank. I'm not sure about that. I mean, you're I guess you could, I guess if you think of it that way, that could be true, but really you're just adding, you're staking. I see it as like you're staking. All right, you're doing some kind of, uh, you got skin in the game by putting your bitcoins into the, I wouldn't say a channel per se, but a network. And yes, your bitcoins are stuck in that channel. And once you make a channel with someone, it's there, and the only way to get it out is either you uh, publish or broadcast the signal on the blockchain, or you use that person, the channel you have that with that person, to link with another person. So it's not like every channel you make, you have to have some sort of Bitcoin in there as skin in the game. But they're still your Bitcoins. They're not somebody else's Bitcoin. Although your Bitcoins are being used as some kind of collateral in the channel as you try to use the channel to connect with somebody else, to a third or fourth or fifth party. So in that sense, that's, if that's what you're talking about, I can understand what you're coming from. Let me see here. What else is it? Let me see. Buy bitcoins in a Lightning channel. In a Lightning channel, buy bitcoins. You say, so my private keys are belonging to a bank now. No, there is no bank in the Lightning channel. Everyone has their own private keys in a channel. So in a channel between two people, both their bitcoins are in that channel. So if I had a channel with you buy Bitcoin, you would have 0.5 Bitcoin in that channel, and I would have 0.5 Bitcoin in that channel. So the channel altogether has one whole Bitcoin. But you have your key and I have my key, and you can only spend 0.5 and I can only spend 0.5. We're just using it as collateral to move value around very quickly. That's all it is. But you still control that. You still control your own Bitcoin, and you can still broadcast it on the blockchain if you want to close that channel. And so there's no, there's a confusion about, someone could steal my Bitcoins. Well, if you think about Lightning channels as cross-atomic swaps, that's essentially what they are. Channels are like making a cross-atomic swap. Both parties has to agree to giving up their Bitcoin in order for something to happen. And if the whole transaction fails, then everybody gets their Bitcoin back, essentially. So I'll use BCH to avoid Lightning and pay low fees today. Yes, K7 Gexer, you can, and I do agree with you on that, because Bitcoin Cash is essentially a new chain with very low usage. I can use Litecoin, I can use Dash, I can use, well, I don't know if I can use Ethereum, but I can use just about every other altcoin out there, just like Bitcoin Cash, and pay low fees. The problem is nobody accepts Bitcoin Cash that I know of. And I have no desire, I too have no desire to use Bitcoin Cash. I have, I can. I know there's places that will accept Bitcoin Cash, but I just don't have a desire, and I don't see a need. Although you're right, the low fee, it will have low fees, and you can use it a lot cheaper. But that's because nobody is using that network. Bitcoin Cash will have the same problem as Bitcoin right now. When it reaches its capacity, it will essentially have a fee system. You have to pay higher fees to get your blocks, your transactions in the block. And of course, people will say, well, we'll just increase the block size. Well, there's a limit to that. There's a limit. There's not an infinite amount of block size you can use. There is a limit, and it's been discussed why that's not a good idea. Okay, because eventually you're causing fewer and fewer nodes to be available, and what's fewer nodes is more easier to um, how can I say this? It's easier. It leaves a vulnerability of shutting down that system. You want many nodes to keep the network going for catastrophic failure, government intervention, whatever the case. You want many nodes, and we're not talking about, you know, maybe Bitcoin Cash if it's used for stuff like buying coffee, like people try to pitch it. But if it's going to be about buying coffee, then I can use my credit card, I can use my cash. I have no issues buying coffee, right? Bitcoin is being used because you cannot use a credit card, you cannot use a bank, you cannot use Western Union, you cannot use cash in some cases. So Bitcoin fits that perfect niche, and that's why people really use Bitcoin. Okay, but that's my opinion on it. I know I can use Bitcoin Cash right now and pay low fees, but I don't know anybody that accepts Bitcoin Cash. I don't know anybody that will buy Bitcoin Cash from me. I know there are some places that will accept Bitcoin Cash as payment, but I have no. I don't use them because I probably don't use them at all. I don't use those kind of services, whatever those services are. So if you can get Bitcoin Cash to be accepted at every grocery store, then I might use Bitcoin Cash. Let's see here. Bitcoin buy, you say, how so with air gap and being visible on the blockchain? I don't understand that question. So let me see. Blandermania says, personally, I'm excited about transaction batching and beg32 address. Both should greatly reduce congestion on the network. Yeah, so I've heard about that, and I don't batch too much because I trade person to person, so it's usually just one address I send to. I do batch my transactions when I experimented with it. And if you do batch your transaction right now without SegWit, right, without using a SegWit address or anything, you can considerably save on transaction fees right now. So I don't know if batching with SegWit addresses helps, but if SegWit helps in reducing the transaction, what do they call it? The transaction size, or oh, I'm at a loss here. But if it reduces the size of your transactions, of the bits, I'm sorry, if the bytes, then you'll get a lower fee. Yes. beg32 addresses, right now, as far as I understand, beg32 addresses, I do not think there's a lot of people using beg32 addresses. And so until that gets more adopted, it's really it's becoming like the person who had a fax machine. You need to wait for another person to have a fax machine to use it. So you need more people using those beg32 addresses to become useful. And then again, it's a repeat of another network effect. You have to start another network effect. And network effects takes time to get going. It took almost 9 years for Bitcoin this far. Every time we add something where you need people to adopt this new format, it's another, it's another, how can I say this? It's like you have to wait for more people to accept and adopt this new way of doing things. So, it's going to take time. And I think every time you keep doing that, it takes longer and longer. Let me see. It says, Dave Hamilton said, it's weird. I have this conversation every single day with a Bitcoin Cash person speaking broken English. Well, I don't talk to too many people other than you guys over the live stream. I have my reasons for using Bitcoin, and it's very simple. No one has ever asked me has ever come to me for Bitcoin Cash. I have never gone to anybody and asked for Bitcoin Cash, or have never gone to anyone to try to sell my Bitcoin Cash. It's been Bitcoin since day one, and it has not stopped. Matter of fact, people keep coming to me. People want me to buy their Bitcoin. I'm assuming because they're oversupplied. But at this point in time, I too am oversupplied on Bitcoin. So there's no need for me to buy their Bitcoins. Let me see, K7 Gexer 1000. If you've ever sent or received Bitcoin, you'll know something's wrong with the network. BCH is fast and cheap. I don't know if anything's wrong with the Bitcoin network. It has a block size limit, and it's hitting that limit. And it's either hitting that limit because there really are transactions happening every day, which means people are using this network. Last I checked, there's about anywhere from 200 to 300, 200 to 400,000 transactions a day. If you add the mempool in there, it's a lot more every day. So I don't know if there's anything wrong with the network. It's working. If the market can bear the high fees, the market will bear the high fees. There must be a reason why someone's willing to pay high fees to use Bitcoin, because the transaction is more important than the fee. All right. So if there was something wrong, if Bitcoin Cash was fast and cheap, which almost all altcoins and tokens are, they're all fast and cheap. But for some reason, Bitcoin persists in being used to the point where there are to the point where the mempool is being filled. Why is that? You have to ask yourself. Any logical person would say, any logical person would say to themselves, I'm going to move over to a different network, right? That's always been the argument since 2014 and 2015, that Bitcoin is broken, and I'm going to go over to Dash. I'm going to go over to Litecoin. I'm going to go over to Ethereum. I'm going to go over to, you name the altcoin. And some people do. But for some reason, those same people always come back to Bitcoin when they want a real transaction to be done. So I don't think there's anything broken with the network. I think there's just a very high demand in using the network, and the network is set at a certain limit, and it's hitting that limit all the time. And hence, that's why you have the higher fee. But people are still willing to pay for the higher fee. So until people don't want to pay that higher fee, and they'll go to a Litecoin, they'll go to a Bitcoin Cash, which if you look at the transactions, which I have a link there, if you wish to go to that link, bitinfocharts.com, you can compare the transactions between Bitcoin and other blockchains. But Dash has maybe 20 to 30,000 transactions a day. Litecoin's about the same, maybe a little bit higher. Bitcoin Cash is about the same, 20 to 30, maybe 40, sometimes 70,000 transactions. If you compare it to Bitcoin, it's, you're looking at 200 to 300 transactions, sometimes up to 400,000 transactions per day. That's actually transactions in the blockchain. If you add the mempool, it's even more. So I don't think anything's broken. Buy Bitcoin. Lightning Network is faster and cheaper, supposedly. I have never used it. Jihan is your leader. You best obey, bitch. All right. K7 Gexer 1000. Why would I want to lock up my Bitcoin in a payment channel just to get cheap fees? I just use a coin with cheap fees. Yes, I agree with you. I think the advantage or the lore of the Lightning Network is not that you get to use, you know, that you get to have cheap fees, or I think if anything, the users of Lightning Network will definitely have instant transactions. I think that is true. But I think the lore is that possibly any user who runs a full node can charge a fee to be a part of the network. And I think that's the lore. I think that's the lore on top of instant transactions. To me, that's what I see anyway. I do find it ironic that you have to send an on-chain transaction to a channel, and then it'll get locked up, and which you have to expend, or you're adding liquidity to the network, and you're running a node, and your bitcoins are being provided to build channels with people, and people are transacting through your channel as a hop. That's where you can make fees. You can charge a little fee for being a part of that hop. And I think that's the lore that I think people who want to be a part of the Lightning Network want to take a part of. It's just a question of getting users to come in to use it, and the only lure for them is instant transactions. I think the fee will eventually get to a point where it could be the same. You know, you could be getting high fees, maybe not, I don't know. But you'll get instant transactions, and that might be the final lure, the attraction for a user, to the end user anyway. But you're right, you don't have to use it. You don't have to use it in the end. You can eventually just be on chain. You know, there's no one's going to make you use the Lightning Network if you don't want to. So, but you know, Lightning Network is barely up. I don't even know if it's really going to work. I do find some. I do find that it's there's a lot of irony in the Lightning Network. So, core zombies are always on the attack. Okay. I don't know if there's any. I have to agree with you on some level that there's a lot of people probably on both sides, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, that will just follow without question, or follow without reason, or follow without even thinking. But again, you know, I have my opinions on it, and from my experience is more people want Bitcoin than they want anything else. And I only deal with Bitcoin, so I don't know anything. I have no idea of any other cryptocurrency at all. No idea. Okay. Let me see, Dave Hamilton, you ask, we don't, or you're saying, we don't want a coin controlled by Roger Ver and Jihan and fake Satoshi. Yeah, there's a lot of sentiment against that. All right, let's keep going down here. Let's see what else we have. A dual overhead camness, you say Doge is still 1 Doge per transaction. Well, no, I've actually done a transaction with 0 Doge, and it took 3 minutes. So Doge actually, if people are worried about transaction fees, right, and quick times, Doge with 0 transaction fee will get confirmed in 3 minutes. I've done that. But again, the reason why is because nobody uses those blockchains. That's why it's so available. Okay. And also the way the blockchains are set up, some of them are set up as faster block times. But once they get used, once there's enough users to reach a point where it reaches its limits, you'll get the same thing that happens. You'll get congestion. Dave Hamilton, you said you can transfer Neo gas for 0 fees. Yeah. There are a lot of cryptocurrencies and tokens out there that you can transfer right now with 0 fees, and they'll be instant too. They'll most likely be very instant or near instant. So what advantage does Bitcoin Cash have over that. It really doesn't. You know, there's a lot of coins out there that are much faster, zero transaction fees than Bitcoin, but yet people continue to use Bitcoin and people continue to use those fees because I believe there's a network effect, more users, all right? And again, people like me and other people like me who only trade in Bitcoin, who only accept Bitcoin, who only see Bitcoin as the one only cryptocurrency out there. So if you came to me with Doge, I wouldn't buy your Doge. I don't want to buy your bags. If you came to me with Bitcoin Cash, I would tell you to, trade the Bitcoin Cash for Bitcoin and then come back to me and I'll buy your Bitcoin. That's if I want to. All right. That's if I want to. But I would be more inclined to buy Bitcoin over Bitcoin Cash, over Litecoin, over Ethereum in real life, face to face, in person. I would give you like cold hard cash, which that's what you want, and that's what you would get. But I only accept Bitcoin. You know. DD8209, you say, why even have a mempool, or at least after an hour, just get kicked out? Well, that does happen. I have never had that happen to me yet. Okay. I guess if the fees are so low and there's other people that are willing to pay a higher fee to get their transactions in the block after a certain amount of time, yeah, there's only so much memory in a computer that will keep track of your transactions in the mempool before it drops. So yes, yes. And this is true of as far as I know, of most blockchains. I'm not sure of all. I don't research all of them. But most blockchains will also do that. Once they reach a certain capacity and they build up a mempool, after a certain time, your transactions will drop just like how it is here on Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin network. Because again, people are using Bitcoin, all right? And I believe people are using Bitcoin in real life for transactions because they can't use cash. They cannot use Western Union. They cannot use MoneyGram. They cannot use a bank. They cannot use a credit card. So Bitcoin by far is the most accepted form of internet payment of the cryptocurrencies. And so whatever brings them to that point is the reason why they're using Bitcoin. If there was something about Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Doge, or whatever, they would be using that. But most people don't do that. They use Bitcoin. And don't ask me, I don't know why. That's just the way the market is right now, and I participate in that market. I don't ask questions. I don't try to figure out why it is. All I know is that it is the way it is, and I participate in that market, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't have any problems with it. I like it. Okay. Can you shout out to Dogecoin though? Oh goodness. Well, I can talk about, I'll talk about Dogecoin. I mean, I did a transaction on Coinami in which it took me 3 minutes to do a transaction with zero transaction fee with Dogecoin. So if you really wanted to do a transaction that was quick and for free, right, you can use Dogecoin right now, peer to peer or wherever, if someone would accept Dogecoin. But again, Dogecoin is not used in that way. Most of these altcoins are used for speculation, and that's it. Speculation on the exchange. Everyone's basically playing a Ponzi with their cryptocurrencies. And some people are trying to play Ponzi game with Bitcoin. The only difference is I think Bitcoin really has a real world use, and the people who are speculating and gambling, they're the stupid people that don't understand what's really going on, and they're the ones that are really taking their risking their money. When I trade Bitcoin, I'm not really risking my money like the people who trade Bitcoin or trade any other altcoins. People who speculate, they're the ones that are risking their money. I'm actually making a trade. Okay, I'm trading my Bitcoins for something, whether it's cash or whatever. There's some risk in the transaction, but there's always a risk in every transaction. But I'm not speculating. I speculate, but I'm not speculating. If that makes sense. Probably doesn't. Anyways, so again, there you go, Neo. That's what's going on with Neo, people. Okay, hold on here. EOS. Let's take a look at EOS. EOS pumped hard. EOS. People love pumping coins. I don't know why. It doesn't create wealth. Okay. Bitcoin creates wealth because it does create some value somewhere because it's useful. It's useful. No, I'm not trying to. I guess you could say I'm a Bitcoin maximalist because I've never used any altcoin in any meaningful way other than Bitcoin. But the reason why Bitcoin will create wealth is because it has a real use. All right, it has a real use and it's useful. All right, so let's take a look at EOS. Oh, EOS did break out. Oh, congratulations, EOS. The question is, this is the biggest bull I have ever seen. Question is, can it continue? And how much money, quote unquote, faith, how much money and faith are you willing to put into this network? All right. How much money are you willing to put in? Now, keep in mind, you're giving up your money to get a token of appreciation that floats in value. And that token of appreciation is a measurement of your faith into this experiment. So let's look at the social network. Let's see what's going on with them. What is going on with EOS here? Let's see their recent tweet here. EOS, hello. You may wish to warn your followers about a fake, you may wish to warn your followers about a fake airdrop that has just started circulating on Twitter and possibly Medium. All right, that's nothing special. EOS, tune in tomorrow for special announcements from Seoul YouTube. That's it. Okay, so not too much. Remember, you are giving your money as a measurement of your faith into this project, and you're giving a token of appreciation of your faith, and that measures, all right, that may measure your status in this community, and that's all this is. Okay. Let me see here. What are they talking about? So $18 hype thread. That's right here. $18 hype thread. That's what they got. That's what's going on the Reddit on EOS. Me trying to figure out what the special announcement is tomorrow about. So EOS is nothing more than hype and announcements. So literally, you are donating. Okay, you are literally donating your money for faith. You're giving faith tokens, and your status in this community depends upon how many faith tokens that you own that will eventually appreciate, all right, appreciate in value in the future. That someday that you can cash in because you put faith into a system, all right? Instead of putting faith into yourself, believing in yourself, believing in what you can do, you're putting that belief and faith onto this project, which I think is very dangerous, if you ask me. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having a faith in a system, but I wouldn't be putting too much faith in it. Have faith in yourself, have belief in yourself first. I think that's more empowering than EOS. And, you know, you in a lot of ways, your belief system in yourself and your faith in yourself is what gives EOS this power over you. You're giving up this power to EOS. So I'm just saying, you're better off probably in having your own self-confidence in yourself than having confidence in EOS. That's just what I'm saying. But if you want to, if you want, you can give up your money. You're donating into a faith, in my opinion. Okay. And so what's next? Decred. Good night. Good night, Pisces. You have a good one. Let me see here. Let's refresh this. Okay, Decred. Let's have a look at Decred real quick. Kinda getting there. It's trying really hard. It could be breaking. There's a lot of things that could happen, and yeah, maybe Decred will break. Maybe Decred will break. The question is, are you able to actually sell in time? Are you able to actually cash out in time? Cash out in Bitcoin. If your goal is to make more Bitcoin, are you willing to? Are you able to cash out into Bitcoin in time to capitalize on all the gains? That's the hard part about this. Let me see here. What is going on with their social media? Okay, Decred as client Caliente as Decred as Caliente. Okay, will be out in force and speaking in the North American Bitcoin Conference in Miami, January 18th through the 19th. Thank God I don't go to these conferences. I don't waste my time going to these conferences. All they are sales pitches for every crap coin that's there. Who else is going to be there? Dash. I wonder if Litecoin's going to be there. Probably all these other tokenized assets, that these ERC20 tokens will probably be there pitching whatever they're pitching, trying to get you to buy into it. Let's see what's on the subreddits here. You know, the only thing Decred really has going for it is this whole governance process. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know anything else about Decred, and I'm not really interested. Again, no one has ever come to me, asked me about Decred. No one has ever come to me wanting to offer me any Decred. Decred just doesn't exist in my world at all, other than just looking at it on this. That's about it. That's as far as Decred comes into my life. Okay, let's have a look at library credits real quick. BC library credits. Wow. Wow. Really, really bad. Library credits is really, really bad. Maybe it's the chart. I don't know what it is, but library credits is a losing proposition. I wouldn't touch this at all. This is sick. Let's see what is going on in social media. Let's have a look here. Why do tech giants abuse their users, and why do we let them get away with it? I don't know. Okay, well, there's not much going on socially, so I have no idea why this is going up in price. None whatsoever. Okay, that's it for that. I will now go on to the Bitcoin chart analysis. I'm not sure if you're all waiting for this, but we'll find out. What's going on? Where's my Bitcoin? Oh. All right, let's see what you're all saying here. Well, I guess the chat's dying out now. It's getting too late. It's the late night talk show. There we go. Okay. All right. Price is moving. Price is moving. I don't know how much of this can really stay here. Let's take a look. All right, I'm trying to make a line here. And it looks like it's breaking. It looks like it's breaking. You can see it right here. Here, it's touching up on these 3 points here. And it's broken right here, which is good. So I think this leg of the price going down is over. And it looks like the selling pressure has subsided right now. But I'm not sure if it's completely over just yet, because I need to see a couple things. I'd like to see it really go above this price, right around here, if I can get it. There it is. I need to go above that price, and then it has a chance of going up higher. And eventually, I want it to go above this price right here. So you're looking at an $800 move just to get to this price right here. $800 moves. And then this is a lot bigger move. It's going to be challenging. I still think there's a lot of headwinds because there's just a lot of, I think, a negative sentiment overall. But who knows? Things change. Things change very quickly, very fast. Let's see what you're all saying here now. I'll just go ahead and refresh that real quick, and I'll be right back. So let's go to the 12-hour. So I'm going to look at the 12-hour. Let's see what's happening here. So the 12-hour, you can see that's a very short time frame. Let's extend that time frame out a little bit. And so, okay, so on the 12-hour, it looks a little different. It still has a lot of challenges on the price of moving up. So the price right about here, trying to get really close, 14,733. This moving average right here, that's probably going to be a resistance. And then this price right here is probably going to be a resistance as well. That's $16,324. Very close over there. And so that's another resistance. And so there's still a lot of headwinds. It still has to break this all-time, this high right here, which is $17,235. And then, of course, it's, oh, put that right there. And then it has to break the all-time high, which is $19,666. So it still has a lot of challenges. It still has a lot of challenges. Let's see the support here real quick. Let's have a look at the support. And it looks like it's trying to bounce off of this support line right here. To critical that it holds. If it does not hold and falls down further, then I would expect a test around $10,000. I would really expect anywhere from $10,000 to $9,000. I would expect a test around that price range. And now let's look at the chat right now. Plex ASM, good to see you in the chat. Let's see what you have here. He says, James, why do you think ETH, Ethereum, pumps when it has nothing but bad news ahead? I don't get it. Lots of laugh. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at Ethereum real quick. Let's take a look at CoinMarketCap here. And I'll take a look at Ethereum. And let's look at their social activity. So it does look like it's continuing to go up, but if you look at this compared to Bitcoin, that impressive. It's fallen from its all-time high against Bitcoin, and I'm going to assume it's going to probably do that. It'll go up and down, and from what I could tell, it looks like Bitcoin will. It seems like Bitcoin outcompetes it every time. Why is it going up now? I can only assume that people are putting money into it. Like I said, a lot of this could be a faith. A lot of people are buying into this. So if you take the context of what I've been saying, like Ethereum itself is not a company, right? There's the Ethereum Foundation, but the token itself, Ethereum, and the blockchain is not a company. It does not produce any product or any service. It's being used to make CryptoKitties. I think it may be used. It's used as a currency, as a way of transferring money around. I mean, very similar. Just Ethereum is basically just what people want. How can I put this? Ethereum is everything that people want Bitcoin to be but it's Ethereum, right? They want to make money. They want the value to go up. They want to feel like they're getting rich. Their ideas are may be different. I think their ideas are different in a lot of ways. I think they're open to being centrally controlled and having they don't for me I see a lot of failures or points of failures or even a point of compromise in their whole system. But they seem to the people who believe in Ethereum seem to believe in the overall project despite the flaws. And I'm talking about critical flaws. They think it's okay to mess up. They think it's okay to lose money. It's a learning process for them, and I'm not really even sure at this point what's driving up the price because I'm not involved. I see Ethereum as something that makes no sense. I don't see how there's any value in this because either maybe because I'm not a part of Ethereum, and so I don't understand the nuances of the community, and that may be true because I don't participate in anything Ethereum. So I'm not, I try to understand from the outside looking in, but I think if you get involved in any cryptocurrency, you're always going to be outside looking in before you get involved. So I'm not inside. I think it's a way for people to get money. Ultimately, that's what I use Bitcoin. I use Bitcoin to make money, and I think people who use Ethereum, they use Ethereum the same way as I use Bitcoin to make money. They're selling it at maybe a premium to somebody. I don't know. I'm not in that market, but obviously the price has gone up. People are putting money into it. I do think people are putting a lot of faith into the system. And again, they're putting faith into the system by putting money into it. And the more money in the system they put in, the more faith they will acquire. And remember, you're giving tokens of appreciation for your faith. And I think having a certain amount of Ethereum gives you a certain status, and you can measure that status. You can definitely measure that status. I have X amount of Ethereum. You can show it. Some people even talk about it and display it and end up getting robbed. Which is totally, I think, a lot of opposites of the way I perceive Bitcoin, because the blockchain, there are blockchain, Ethereum blockchain, and Bitcoin blockchain. You can see everything, you can track everything, and I wouldn't want to be. That's why I don't even talk about my Bitcoins. I really don't talk about how many Bitcoins I have. I don't. I know how much I have, and I keep that number to myself. And it's enough for me. I'm okay with it. For some people, it may not be enough. For other people, it may be a lot. Whatever that number is, it should be kept to yourself, in my opinion. But I think people who believe in the Ethereum system, they have a different take on everything. I'm not even sure where they're coming from. I think they seem to be. I think they seem to be younger. I don't know I only say that because everything about Ethereum seems so stupid. Only someone who's so I hate to be so harsh. Maybe I'm judging, but either is gullible in a sense, or I would say innocent. to go along with it. And I think a lot of people who are involved in Ethereum use that kind of a innocence of the community to take advantage of it. I mean, they're taking advantage of it, and to some degree, I think they're no one realizes it. They're being taken advantage of. So the ride just keeps going. You know, the Kool-Aid keeps on being poured, and the kids they'll keep drinking. They'll get a sugar high, and you know they'll continue as long as the Kool-Aid is being poured. The kids will keep drinking. Is what I have to say. So let me read some of the tweets that come out. Let me see. Ethereum update. Ethereum core developers meeting. The video and notes are all up. I've listened to them. You know, they have a video that comes out. I listen to it. A lot of the stuff they talk about makes no sense to me. I'm not a developer. Probably that's why. But I don't know what the goal is here. It makes no sense. I have no idea where they're going with this. I see no practical use with this token, other than trying to get other people's money, trying to get people to believe in this system. And you have to donate into the system. You're given a token of appreciation through a faith token in a lot of ways. And then you have this whole platform where it's a subset of like other faith of other tokens, and where you can donate into that and receive faith tokens from that subset of tokens, which is an overall you know, it seems to like an overall as a whole, it's all these tokenized assets, even CryptoKitties, seem to represent some form of Ethereum as a whole, as something that you have to have faith in, a subset of faith within a larger faith of what the Ethereum faith. And so, you know, whatever drives people to it, I have no idea. I think they're, I do think they're gullible. I do believe that. I do think they're gullible. I think they have unrealistic ideas, and perhaps they're. I think a lot of it is a immaturity of the community as a whole. Okay, because they lack the experience of, I think, of experience, lack the experience of experience, a lack of the experience of I don't know, memory. Like, you know, after the first DAO, you know, you would say to yourself, okay, this doesn't work, let's stop doing it. But instead of like stopping, they continue to do other DAOs, other ICOs in the form of ICOs on top of ICOs, and they continue to, and ICOs are still going, even though a lot of potential regulations are looming over the whole project. So let me go ahead and read some of the Reddit post here. Let me see. Arizona could allow people to pay taxes in cryptocurrencies. I don't know what. I guess they're hopeful that they could use their Ethereum, their faith tokens, to pay taxes. What is Ethereum thoughts on DAI stablecoin? Does this mean the Doge ETH bridge is finally happening? After a year of waiting, the Z-Schnark papers seem to be finally published. Okay, a year to publish a paper. All right. Yeah, all of this, man, I have no interest in. I really don't. I have no idea why the price. If the price goes up, I'm happy for them. You know, I'm happy for them, but I just don't see any value in it. I don't see any value in it because I guess I don't use it, and I guess it's that simple. I don't know why some of these altcoins even go up in price, because they all have no value to me. Like I said, take your altcoin to a meetup and see if anybody's willing to buy it. If no one's willing to buy it, at that point in time, your altcoins are worth zero. Okay, let's see what DD89, DD8209. Everyone is going to have their bias. However, fundamentals are fundamentals. There is a reason why Bitcoin was created and needs to be said over and over. The bankers, the banksters, never mind the infighting. Here we go. Okay, so let's go back to the Bitcoin chart analysis. And then, another thing is I specialize in Bitcoin, and I think if I put my focus all into one thing, I can put a lot of energy and time into it and understand it the most. Time to understanding every other altcoin and cryptocurrencies out there, because you just can't do it. It's hard to, and you really have to. I mean, you really have to like look at this as, really you are choosing to be a part of a community. All right. Like if you think about this as, and I've mentioned this before in my other videos, cryptocurrencies, if you think of it as some kind of faith-based religion, all right, you there's a lot of similarities. You're picking you're choosing a community to be a part of, right? You're giving up your money, so you're donating your money to receive some faith token. I think most of these altcoins are faith tokens. For me, Bitcoins are a way of a faith-based token. I mean, they're a measure of your faith to some degree, but I find Bitcoin to be more useful than any other token out there. Like, I can use my Bitcoins in a practical way. I can actually buy food. I can buy a Lambo for some reason. I can buy a house. With Bitcoin, it's been done and proven to be done. So, in a lot of ways, it's Bitcoin is more than a faith-based token. It's really become a practical token for me to use, and that's why I would put money into it. And plus, it's gone up in value tremendously, so it's actually paid off. It was first of all, very good investment, and overall, it has the most time. It has the most time to understand it. Like, it's been around 9 years. Out of all the cryptocurrencies out there, Bitcoin's the original and the oldest. I can say in confidence that I can see, I can see the patterns, or I can see the charting patterns anyway, and I could see the history or learn from the history the most. Some of the newer altcoins, they may learn from Bitcoin, but you have to develop your own history. You have to develop your own culture, your own community. And if you're only a year old, or 3 months old, or a month old, there's nothing there for me to look at to say with confidence that I want to be a part of this. And that's just me. That's just me. All right. Other people are more riskier, and they'll join a cult that drinks Kool-Aid that eventually will kill you. That's fine. I like to live a little bit longer and make a difference in this world. All right. That's all I'm saying. Let me go back here. It looks like refresh this every time. Anyways, looks like the price is going up on the 12-hour. It is hitting. I think there's some resistance here, and then here, and then finally a resistance here as well, and a resistance here at the all-time high. So very challenging, very challenging. All right, let me go in the 1 day. Let's take a look at the 1 day. Okay, so this is going to be challenging here. There you have two moving averages here that I use. Let's see what happens. It's going to have to break these moving averages, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If it does go up, there's a resistance here, here, and of course here. So, but the spot price right now is below the 2 moving averages. That usually is indication that the price will go down, but we'll see. There was a lot of selling pressure. That selling pressure may have subsided, but I still think it's really going into a wedge if you look at it overall. It looks like it's just going to be bouncing in a wedge for some time, and we'll see if it breaks any of these trend lines. If it can break any of these trend lines, that will be the signal in which the direction is going. And so once you get a confirmation on the direction, then everything else will kind of fall into place, whether it's going to be a bear market or it's going to be a bull market, or it could go more of the sideways. I mean, there's only 3 choices, really. All right, let's see, DD 8209. Let's see what James Bond. ETH fulfills the tech groups that like to have a platform to create apps. You have links, distros, and open source programming language groups that it appeals to. Okay, that's true. That may be the case. I'm not a part of that. Again, I'm not a part of that. But what I have seen, it has not been impressive. Okay, so I'm not a part of that type of group. I'm very different. I am ultimately I'm just a user, and as a user, the things I look at is how useful is that tech good to me. And so far, I have not seen anything useful that Ethereum has to offer. Nothing. CryptoKitties is not useful to me. These ICO tokens are not useful to me. Ethereum itself is not very useful to me. And so until they develop something that is useful, that I can use, and that I perceive to be useful, it's really it's just I guess a tech group's playground to make apps, which they don't know what to do with. They have no idea what to do. And so until somebody out there in Ethereum land figures out how to use these apps to make a difference in the world, right now it's just a playground for a bunch of app developers who can't develop anything useful. That's how I see it. And so other people may like it, other people fantasize and believe in it. But the only thing that I've seen that people are happy about Ethereum is the fact that the price has gone up. Now, I do that with Bitcoin, but that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's something that goes up in price. It's supposed to do these things. Ethereum was originally supposed to be like a world computer where you can, those Ethereum tokens were supposed to be used to run your contracts. But that's not how people are using Ethereum now. Ethereum is really trying to be like Bitcoin, but you're trying to do things with it that I think that nobody knows what to do with it, right? Like I don't know, CryptoKitties, utter nonsense to me. I see no value or use in CryptoKitty. I could have done that at home. All right, I could have done that at home. Not develop a CryptoKitty app, but if I wanted a picture of a unique app and tie some kind of value to it, okay, I can do that. I don't know if anybody would buy it, but anyways, I thought CryptoKitty was a waste of time, really. It's novelty. It really is. They're just trying to find something that is novel and make it Ethereum, and then sell it to the community, and the community loves it. I don't know why. Either the Ethereum community has a lot of money, and they have money to waste, and maybe so, because if you think about who's supporting Ethereum, a lot of banks are supporting Ethereum. a lot of banks are supporting the Ethereum blockchain, and I can only assume it's people who have a lot of money, and it's okay for them to lose money. Obviously, it's okay for them to lose money, and maybe the people involved feel a certain guilt of having so much money, and that's why they invest in projects that they know will lose money. Maybe. It seems like a lot of them made money, in my opinion. All right, let's go to 3-day here. Okay, on the 3-day, let's take out the lines here. Let's take out all the lines. Let's just look at it. On the 3-day, it's going to be coming up into this average line, and that's probably going to be resistance. I like to see if it goes above it, or is it going to be rejected. So, but the fact that it's below the moving average, it is worrisome, because anything below the moving average usually means the price will go down. But it has yet to be testing this moving average yet, which is basically at almost 11,800. Let's have a look at the week. Let's see how the week is doing. All right, the price is bouncing up a little bit above the moving average now. So weekly, the bull trend is technically still intact. We are technically still in a bull market, if you can believe that. But I don't like the body of the red candle with the wick on the bottom. But yeah, I've seen this many times before, where it makes these kind of series of candlesticks, and then it takes off. It goes, up north. It just takes off. How many times can it do that? I don't know. The only way you can determine if it does go up, that's the only way. There is no prediction machine. There is no indicator that will predict the price. The price is the ultimate indicator. So, but the problem is, by the time it happens, it's too late for you. That's why there's risk in trading. You have to take the risk on buying or selling. All right, that's the risk. If it wasn't for that risk, there would be no reward. All right, if you make the right call, the price will go up or down. All right, that's the risk. So far, I just try to position myself where I'm 50-50, where I have Bitcoin and I have cash. If it goes down, I'm ready to buy. If it goes up, I'm in the money. So that's how I play it. I don't try to beat the market. I just participate in the market. That's all I do. DD8209, you say, I don't find C++ useful, but a lot of software created by those platforms are useful. James, got to keep an open mind, or we just get old and stubborn. I don't own Bitcoins or ETH. Okay. Well, I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't. Maybe I'm open-minded. Maybe I'm closed-minded. I've been watching Ethereum since it's been created. I have been trying to understand it and try to learn what it is and why it's useful. And so far to date, I have seen nothing that I could find about it. Nothing. And maybe I'm biased. Maybe I am biased, because when I find something I like, I usually stick with it. And every once in a while, I may try something, but most of the time, once I find something I like, that's it. I like it. And there's a reason why I like it, because it works for me. And I like it. If I try something else, I kind of tend to regret it, and that's kind of how I feel. Um, if there is something better that comes along, I will migrate. I will. All right. Uh, am I married to Bitcoin? Well, right now I kind of am, because that's all I've ever used, and right now it works for me. It works really well for me. Maybe not for everybody else. But watching this space since 2013, so 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, it will be 18. So I'm in my 5th year watching this space. And that's all I've done is I've been watching. All right. The only thing I've done, I'm actually doing is I'm using Bitcoin. Everything else I'm watching. And so far what I've seen has really not convinced me enough to say anything great or anything positive, other than you're wasting your time. You know, I think a lot of people are wasting their time, but I could be wrong. Maybe maybe I am wrong. Time will only tell. And maybe I'll look back, hindsight 2020, and I should have. I'll kick myself, and I'll say I should have bought Ethereum. I should have bought Doge. I should have bought whatever. But I don't think so. I don't think I will be doing that. I'm happy. I'm happy with Bitcoin. You know, it does everything that I want it to do, just fine. You know, let me see. Plex ASM, you say you can't find CC plus use, so most applications are written. Most applications are using it right now, are written in it. All right, that's programming language. That's fine. That's how you see it. I'm not in that situation. If a lot of programming languages are using it, then it must be useful, right? Somebody's using it. Let me see. I find it confusing to use personally. Okay. C++ is very useful to the world, though. Okay. Well, that's great. I don't know. I don't know those. I'm not a programmer. If I know something that is CC+, that it's useful, I'll acknowledge it. But I'm just saying, I'm looking at Ethereum. I'm watching Ethereum. I don't know what C++ is, okay? But I'm just watching Ethereum, right? I'm looking at all the stuff that Ethereum is doing. And so far, there's nothing that I can say about Ethereum that would make me want to use Ethereum, okay? Other than maybe pump and dumps with the ICO tokens. That's all I've seen. These utility tokens, if they are a utility token, then fine. Where are they? Where is this utility token that people keep talking about? I just don't see a utility token that's come out that is a utility token. So there's a lot of things about Ethereum that it hasn't produced. There's nothing that has been produced. There's a lot of stuff that has been made, a lot of experiments, a lot of things have been done, but ultimately, you know, you have to have something achieved, and you have to ask yourself, what has Ethereum achieved? I Plex AMS. I know. I think C++ has nothing to do with Ethereum. But I think you're. I don't know the programming language, but I think you're trying to say something in comparison to Ethereum. I understand that. It says I was comparing C++ to Solidity. Again, I don't program. I'm just looking at Ethereum and seeing what they're doing, and what they've done so far has not convinced me to, or compelled me in any way to use Ethereum. And so as long as that happens, I won't understand it, and I won't use it. It's really that simple. Like, if it's a developer's paradise, that's great. But can you all develop? Can any of these Ethereum developers develop something that I can use? You know, what good is Ethereum, as wonderful as it is, if it's if no one can use it? No one, well, or if I can't use it, then it becomes useless. No matter how useful it is to everybody else in the world, or perception of being useful to everybody else in the world, what good is it to me if my perception is that Ethereum is useless? It has no value. So that's just the situation it is. Maybe it is useful. I don't know. I mean, I'll keep watching. I'll keep observing. But right now, what I have to say for it, you know, I have nothing great to really say for it yet. That's just the way it is right now. So, but if something does come out in the future with Ethereum, I'll be waiting. I mean, if something better comes along, I'll use it. I'll use it. You know, I'll do some research into it. I'll look at the blockchain, see if there's being used. Obviously, Ethereum is being used because people are transacting, but are they really transacting in Ethereum, or are they using Ethereum for these ICO tokens to move these tokens around on the Ether Delta to dump them for Ethereum and then trade Ethereum to Coinbase to cash out? I mean, what's really going on, right? DD8209, you say C++ is the alphabet to the book as ETH is to dApps. I'm trying to say that ETH seems to me like a platform, like C++ is to software, Ruby and Visual Basic. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that knowledge. I don't know anything about programming. See the end results. So if there's something there that I can use, all right, if there's something there I can use, I will use it. But there's nothing there that I can use, that I see that I can use. Give me, if Ethereum if anybody out there is programming Ethereum, please make something that I can use. Now, I'm not talking about just make a CryptoKitty. I know I can, if I buy Ethereum and I use CryptoKitty, I'm using a CryptoKitty, but I don't want to do that. That's a waste of my time and energy and effort. You know, I want something that is meaningful. I know it's hard, you know, what is meaningful, but who knows what it is. That's why I guess if you're experimenting, you just have, if you put enough crap out on the wall, if you throw enough crap onto the wall, one of them will stick to the wall, I guess. Or another saying or parable would be, if you throw enough ping pongs on the wall, you might get one ping pong to stick on the wall. And that's the one that's going to be useful, probably by accident. Other than that, I don't know what else you can do. You can experiment all your life, and who knows? Who knows? I just don't. I don't see it. I don't see it. And forgive me if I don't. If somebody would like make a video, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. But so far, what I've seen is fantasy, unreasonable expectations. Some of it sometimes is a straight out lie. You know, that's just me. That's what I see. Until something is different, until something is, you know, I see a lot of marketing in Ethereum as well. And, you know, I think that's, you know, marketing is so close to lying that I think it, you know, people become so delusional in their beliefs that they will lie and don't even know that they're lying. DD8209, you're saying probably in the future there will be smart contracts that can replace exchanges. would that not be great to have a decentralized peer-to-peer trading platform? ETH might have that before Bitcoin. Oh, what's going on? My computer is dying. Okay, sorry about that. My computer was dying there for a minute. So let's let me get rid of this here. This is probably slowing down my computer. So let's talk about that for a minute here. What you were saying. If a peer-to-peer trading platform would be great, and I think for people who trade, maybe. But so far, what I've seen from the trading, from the coins out there, it could be useful. It could be useful. The problem is it's only virtual, and in some extent, it's no different than the centralized exchanges. You're just trading virtual currency, and you're mostly playing a video game. How about using those virtual currencies in real life? That's what I want. I want to use virtual currencies in real life, not virtual currencies in a virtual environment. If there is some exchange, that's fine. I don't know what the exchange would be. I kind of feel like that's also a waste because, you know, unless it's some kind of utility token that you're trying to trade to, or using whatever token to buy another token to use for some very specific use. But you know, if that's our greatest thing, if that's great, if that's Ethereum's greatest impact, I would say okay, but I wouldn't be impressed, or it wouldn't sway me to use Ethereum for that reason. Because I trade in physical reality, I trade cash for Bitcoin. I try to onboard people as much as I can without the use of Coinbase. You know, it's important to try to get new users, and the only way you can do that is through physical reality. Otherwise, they're just, you know, you're just leading them to a dead end, in my opinion. When you introduce them to like a virtual exchange, even though if it's decentralized or centralized, you have to do something in physical reality with these virtual tokens. There has to be a way to move them into the physical world, into the virtual world, if that makes sense. I know I'm talking I'm talking a little weird here, but unless these things can make a physical difference in your life, other than a virtual difference, in other words, a number going up on a computer screen or a number going down on a computer screen, unless these things can actually physically make a difference in your life, I just don't see the use of these things. And let's see what else you say. DD8209, you say, this stuff is super geeky and most people will not understand it until it's easy to pass the grandma test. Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm even though I'm not a developer or a programmer, I can at least understand some basics. And if I can understand just the basics, I can build from there. But, you know, I don't think of myself as someone who completely is clueless at the same time. So, you know, I just don't, I guess I'm just not understanding why people are excited. I've seen many videos. The reason I see people are excited is that they can tokenize things All right, they can tokenize things, but how does that make a difference in the physical world? Right? How does that make a difference in the physical world? It may be very exciting to a programmer or someone who's developing an app, but unless it makes a difference in the physical world, I just, I think it's fruitless in a lot of sense. I mean, people can try. I could be wrong. Like I said, I guess it's one of those things that if you throw enough ping pongs on the wall, maybe one ping pong will stick on the wall, and that's the one that will do something. But it's basically a trial and error. Like most things in life, it's trial and error. You just do things and you make a mistake and you keep doing it, and hopefully you won't make the same mistakes. You'll do something else and you'll get another mistake and another mistake, but that's not very effective or efficient. It's almost childish in doing some of these things where it's just nothing but trial and error. You think you would have some thought into it to prevent as much error as possible. Okay, so DD8209, you say, I heard the big difference is in the way it holds the coins. As I understand it, the coins never leave your wallet until the trade is performed. I found that a game changer, but security comes to mind. Yeah, these are, atomic swaps are that way. And but here's the thing: I'm not interested in another virtual currency. I already have one that I believe, and the one that I think is going to make the most difference in the world. And so my interaction with a virtual currency is from virtual to reality, to physical reality, virtual reality to physical reality. That's the interaction that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a virtual to a virtual exchange. So that's me. Other people want virtual to virtual. They like swapping one coin for another. But in the end, I think all they're doing is playing a zero-sum game. I'm trying to create value from a virtual world to the physical world and back and forth. Matter of fact, what I'm really doing is I'm extracting value from the physical world, from the US dollar, and putting it into the virtual world. And so at a later time, I'm either through accumulation or appreciation, I can extract that value virtually that's been built up and bring it out back into the physical world to do something different. So, I think that's really important to me. And or even extracting value from the physical world and putting it into the virtual world and building a bigger virtual world. And then you're able to extract whatever you created from that virtual reality and bring it out physically. I think that's also another thing. And, Bitcoin helps me do that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the token itself, of Bitcoin itself. I don't know if it's just a placebo, where Bitcoin is just a placebo, and in reality, I'm able to do that all the time. I'm able to bring out a virtual reality into the physical world and make it real. So I don't know, but all I know is, for some reason, don't know why, can't really explain it, but Bitcoin helps me do that. And so that's why I use it. That's what really drives me. Let me see. Plex ASM, you say the biggest problem with Ethereum is that decentralizing application makes them inherently inefficient, especially the way ETH is designed. Yeah, I've heard that as well. I've heard that as well. Let me see here. DD8209, Bitcoin is the top coin only because it speaks truth to power. The audience that are coming in now are the speculators. They don't have fundamentals in mind. However, they have their place. Yes, they do. They add liquidity. They pump up the price, which I'm happy about, right? You're happy. Everyone's happy that everybody's happy when the prices go up. But speculators don't believe. I don't think they really believe. That's why they speculate. That's why they go in and out of all these other tokens and ICOs and everything. They don't really believe in it. They're just there to make a gain, and they're trying to make a gain of other fools that come into this, come into the space, right? I think speculators sees all of the people who are in this space, who are in it for the long run, who participate, who believe in this system. They see us as fools, right? And I think that's what, that kind of irks me a little bit. Although I do speculate myself, but I think a lot of people that come in recently, the noobs that come in, they really see the people in this space as fools, and they treat us as fools. That's why you see BitConnect, USI Tech. That's why you see Trayvon James and Ozzy the BS filter, and people like them, Craig Grant. These scammers. Who else? I mean, that fat Canadian guy as well. Whatever, Adam Gutierrez, who calls him, what is he called? The Bitcoin something? Even Adam Meister to some degree. Who else? Tai Zen and Leon Fu. There's a lot of people that come in here, and they see people who believe in this system or the way things are, or have faith in the way these coins work, as fools, and we are to some degree, but the noobs, or the people who try to take advantage of this space, they really see us as fools in a bad way. All right. Well, sorry, man. I have talked a very, very long time. I guess it's Friday. I don't have to take the kids in tomorrow. But I'm only certain of one thing, people. I'm only certain of one thing for sure. And in this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. I'm certain of those things. That's the only thing I'm very sure of. Anyways, thank you for everybody in the chat. I think DD8209 and Plex ASM are the only people in the chat. I don't think anybody else is in here, but Pisces Traits, thanks for being here. Blander Mania as well. David Hamilton, Dual Overhead Camness, K7 Gexter 1000. Let's see who else was all in here. Buy Bitcoin. Let me see. Ty Coker. And that's about all I can see. I think 21 million here was here at one point. Anyways, thank you for everyone being in the live chat. I appreciate it. It was a great talk with you guys, even though I'm not really talking with you, but it was great to interact. Appreciate it. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, or even do a video response. Until next time, everyone, stay tuned. Bye.